All right, folks, let's get to it. Oh, let's get to it. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, there's so much. There's so much, and I'm still sniffly.
Is Sunday.
Don't play audio yet. I didn't tell you to play audio yet. Don't spoil. What's up? Hello, hello. Stay sniffling, King. Oh, don't worry, I will be. Don't worry. Did you eat breakfast? Yes, I did. A light breakfast, some yogurt and a protein bar. I'll just get it out of the way so I don't, like, feel tempted to ramble about it later. Or, sorry, ramble about it later. But, the fucking t-shirt that I was looking at the other day, the heavy white German-made t-shirt worn by the guy in the bear, turns out there was a local place that sold it, so I got it. Yeah, boy! Not gonna wear that shit right now, though. It's like a heavyweight white t-shirt. And it's the middle of summer, and I'm sitting down. So there's not really a point to wearing it, but I got it. Fits good. Yeah, now it'll be worn by another bear. Mers B. Show it at least. It literally just looks like a white t-shirt. There's nothing exceptional about it with it being held up. It doesn't look like special at all. All right, all right. Guys, do you want to see something unbelievable? Do you want to see something thought impossible in our universe, under our laws of physics? Yes? Okay, good. In France, the left and the liberals have, at least in a sense, set aside their differences and worked together to prevent the spread of fascism. No, I'm not joking. Can you believe it? I thought such a thing was impossible. The first round of elections in France favored Le Pen's party pretty substantially. I believe her party won 33% of the vote, or the seats in total, which is like greater than any other coalition or bloc. However, following her overperformance in the initial election, 218 left and center candidates dropped out so that the votes would not be split between them and the favored candidate to beat Le Pen's National Rally candidate in that district. Huh? I think that's pretty good, I think. A little bit, a little bit. Unless this is breaking news, I heard the left was willing to support the center, but the centrists wouldn't do the same for the left. Not quite. It actually was. Here we go. According to a count by French newspaper Le Monde, some 218 candidates supposed to compete in the second round of pull-out. Of those, 130 were on the left and 82 came from the Macron-led centrist alliance Ensemble, it counted. That's not surprising because, as I understand it, the left Popular Front was more likely and has been getting more seats anyway, so it makes sense they would have like a proportionally higher number of people in a position to drop out. Hundreds of people withdrawing, so the favored candidate against the fascist won. Are French liberals more competent than American liberals? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's a good moment. It's a good moment. It's a good moment.
Marine Le Pen's a far-right anti-immigrant party has come out on top of France's historic parliamentary elections. But this is only the first round. The decisive second-round runoff is Sunday. Marine Le Pen's National Rally is on track to have the most seats in the next French parliament.
Here are the results from the first round. This is just the first round, keep that in mind. 28% came from the hastily assembled left coalition, which ranges from like Social Democrats to the Communist Party, the New Popular Front. Macron's decrepit centrist party, Ensemble, makes up 21%. Then you have the irrelevant Les Républicains. And then with 33%, you have the fascist National Rally Alliance. So with a bunch of weaker candidates in this chunk right here, withdrawing in order to increase the likelihood of them winning over the National Rally, I think it's very, very possible that Le Pen's party does not, in fact, win.
At that point, Macron could name a prime minister from the far-right National Rally, or they could have some kind of technocratic government where they try to come up with people to run the government who are not part of any party. However, either situation is likely to lead to long legislative gridlock, and it will make it very hard for Macron or France to pass any new policy.
Just a little beacon of hope. Just a little beacon of hope. The wave of withdrawals mean there will be now fewer than 100 districts with 3 candidates standing in the second round. Are you telling me there are liberals that understand you have to strategize? Let's not give Macron too much credit here, okay? Macron and his cronies are still largely responsible for everything that is happening right now. This is, as I understand it, largely like the better elements of Macron's party understand. Like, this isn't a centralized strategy where Macron is like, yeah, drop out to favor our left comrades or whatever. This is like some people in his party going, we hate the fascists more than we hate the leftists, we're going to drop out for their benefit. It's not the Macronies, exactly. It's not Macron himself being like hyper pragmatic and you know, good-hearted. Oh man, Macron is also afraid of the left. All liberals are. This is before the mass dropout.
Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally party has taken the lead in the first round of voting in the French election. John Sparks has the details from Paris this hour.
Yeah, I've got the results from one of the exit polls, National Rally and their hard-right coalition on 33% of the vote, not seats because we're in the first round, but 33% of the vote, 28.5% of the vote going to the new Popular Front. This is this alliance on the left that was thrown together basically 3 weeks ago to fight this election. Communists, Greens, Socialists, a party called France Unbowed on 28.5%, and then we've got 22% from Macron's centrist coalition Ensemble. So initial reaction, first reaction, not quite as high, I think, for National Rally. It's still a very good showing for them.
It's a good showing, but I don't think it's going to be enough after the mass dropouts. France 24.
Welcome to the programme. And we start then with the latest on the French election drama today.
The left is only 1 point behind the far right, according to official sources. Can you link that? Because we just saw 28 to 33, didn't we? 5 points behind?
Over 200 candidates, most of them from the centre and from the left, have dropped out of the race for Parliament. The aim is to re-establish the so-called Republican Front and block the National Rally from reaching power by ensuring the anti-far-right vote is not split. But in more than 100 constituencies, no candidate has stepped aside, and left-wingers are now accusing some in the president's centrist bloc of not doing enough to keep...
Here we go. Okay, this is from the French government. What is this discrepancy? According to the French government, it looks like the Union of the Left, which that's their that's the Popular Front, I assume, like the translated French name for the Popular Front. They got almost the same number of votes as the National Rally. I think these are individual parties and not necessarily the coalition. Wait, I'm not actually sure. The translation might be fucking me here a little bit. RN plus allies is 33%. Gotcha. There's a 400K difference. Yeah, but I this isn't showing the coalition, it's showing the parties, you know? Either way, it's closer than people expected.
Keep Jordan Bardella and Marine Le Pen from high office. Oliver Farry has this report.
With the prospect of the far-right National Rally getting an overall majority in the second round of France's legislative elections, other parties are resurrecting the so-called Republican Front. The election has thrown up more than 300 3 or 4
For those of you who are slightly less familiar with history, Republican Front in a French context is based.
Second-round runoffs. This has prompted left-wing and centrist parties to consider giving way to other candidates better placed to defeat the National Rally. As of Monday night, more than 180 candidates had withdrawn from races. 2/3 of these were from the left-wing New Popular Front and 1/3 from Emmanuel Macron's Ensemble coalition. Prime Minister Gabriel...
Like, just so you guys know, this is basically the French equivalent if in 2016 the Hillary campaign had recognized that Bernie Sanders had a better chance. It's not quite like that. Maybe that's an overstatement. I can't think of an example in the recent past of centrist Democrats realizing that the left had a better chance in a given election and ceding that ground. It seems like centrist Democrats always fight tooth and nail every single time. But in this case, like, I want you to imagine hundreds of centrist Democrats in local statewide races putting their hands up and going, you know what? What matters is that the Republicans lose. We're handing the primary over to the progressive, which is pretty fucking based. It shows you how scared even liberals are of Macron, you know? The fact that, like, even fairly neutral and impartial news sources are referring to Le Pen as the first far-right government since Vichy France is crazy. You're giving too much credit to the centrists. They spent the campaign discrediting NFP. I know that. You know I hate fucking Macron. Don't take that from me. Don't do that to me. Let me give credit where it's due, okay? This is good.
Gabriel Attal, likely to lose his job after only 6 months, said keeping the far right out of government was the most important thing.
Quite sincerely, the stakes are so high for the French. I'm secondary in all this. What I want is to avoid a national rally having an absolute majority, because I sincerely believe that would be catastrophic for the French, for our pensioners, for their savings.
For National Rally leader Jordan Bardella, the alliance intended to exclude the far right is a sign the establishment is worried.
I am not going to give any voting instructions, unlike Mr. Macron and Mr. Mélenchon. I believe that the French are intelligent, that they are old enough to decide for themselves. We are qualified today in 440.
This is the head of the of Le Pen's party.
Before constituencies and for change, we must vote for the patriotic candidates of the National Rally Party.
But the left-wing France Insoumise party says the president's coalition has not been clear enough on urging its third-place candidates to step aside or advising supporters on who to vote for.
As far as we're concerned, we applied a clear rule, in line with the principles we've always applied. It's not one vote for the National Rally, not one more seat for the National Rally. And we do hope that the Macronist camp will show the same clarity.
Macaroni.
And indeed, it's not the case, depending on who you speak to.
289 seats are required for an overall majority. Failing that, parties will try to form a coalition similar to the one that
Shimple, do you think people iron their suits? Just asking.
Governed France for the past 2 years.
Well, let's go live now to the streets of Paris. Our reporter Clovis Casali is out and about covering the National Rally campaign. He's with me now. Clovis, there are just a few hours to go before those candidate lists are sealed, confirmed. What's the National Rally up to at the moment?
You steam them, but you don't iron them. Please, God, don't steam your suits. You'll separate the lining on the jacket. Never steam your suits. This is why you need them dry cleaned if they're dirty. Don't steam them, don't iron them, please.
Well, all day here at the National Rally headquarters, there have been meetings. We've seen Marine Le Pen as well as Jordan Bardella. His entourage telling us that he's having one-on-one meetings also to try to finalise deals, of course, maybe clinch some alliances, maybe attract some right-wing MPs or candidates who could join the National Rally ultimately and try to form an alliance, get that outright majority in Parliament that the National Rally desperately needs. Of course, it's always easy.
This really does give me some hope. At the very least, that Le Pen can be delayed.
What the voters have elected us to do.
Marine Le Pen there, the leader of the National Rally. Clovis still with me. Clovis, let's talk about substance. What kinds of issues will Le Pen's party be campaigning on in this final week now?
Final week, final push before the second round of the election. And of course, the National Rally will try to explain its vision for France.
No, Zigabiz, you definitely don't want to steam your suits. You can separate the lining on the jacket. Heat and moisture with no pressure is literally how they separate the lining in suit jackets when they do so in like in tailoring houses, you know? Trust me, you do not want to do that.
With its anti-immigration stance, as well
as
its desire will to reform Europe, give less money to Europe,
no,
and at
you
the same
shouldn't ever,
time
Zigabiz.
get just as much. Jordan Bardella stressing that it's possible if Europe cleans up its act as it needs to. Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella also...
What if there are no dry cleaners available? What can you do at home? Nothing. You dry clean them. That's it. Just Google it, okay? Just Google it. It's fine.
Again, trying to soften their message publicly, change the party's image. They've been trying to do so for years, and it does seem to have worked, given the results in the first round of the election. The National Rally, the French far right, basically saying, if you vote for the left-wing bloc, well, you'll allow Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the radical left leader, to become prime minister. He will cause chaos and insurrection in the country. At the same time, if you vote for the centrist bloc, well, you will be voting for President Macron's allies. President Macron accused by the French far right of doing very little for the French people and not actually listening to the people's...
All right, it seems like they're done discussing the shared dropout section. Diet Coke and guns, don't you worry. I know what we're talking about next, man. Oh, wow, how relevant. Rep Doggett becomes first sitting Democrat to call on Biden to withdraw. What do you got to say about that, CNN?
We begin this hour with the mounting fallout from President Biden's widely criticized debate performance that led to mass panic within the president's own party. For the first time, a sitting Democrat is now publicly calling on the president to quit the race. Congressman Lloyd Doggett of Texas wrote in a news statement, quote, recognizing that unlike Trump, President Biden's first commitment has always been to our country, not himself. I am hopeful that he will make the painful and difficult decision to withdraw.
You guys have no idea how bad things have to be in order for the... Okay, just to make it clear, like, if this is what the like information we get externally looks like, can you imagine how bad it is on the inside? Well, you don't have to imagine. Because Open Labs apparently recently had a leak. Now, this is being reported on widely, so I don't have the like divine insight to determine whether or not this information is credible, but it's being reported on credibly. Internal polling that the Democratic Party uses in order to make their decisions shows that we're hosed, like properly hosed. We have pre-debate and post-debate margins polling between Donald Trump and Joe Biden in the swing states, and we can see that there's been about a 2 percentage point drop in between the pre and post-debate margin in every like major battleground state. And what's more, in some of the battleground states, the margins aren't even remotely close. Now, is polling created by the devil? Yes. But keep in mind that these are internal polls that the Democrats use to make their decisions about the allocation of their funding. This isn't just like some dipshit newspaper paid $800 to get 1,000 people to answer a questionnaire online, you know? This is like a more substantial internal polling system that they use. And yeah, it's not good, folks. It's not good at all. Not even remotely. Jesus Christ, 2% positive margin in Colorado. Colorado. That's how far gone we are. The leaks also contained polling on the alternatives to Biden. Yep, and if I remember correctly, Kamala Harris is actually polling higher than Biden. Overall, to a name recognition adjusted, to a national two-way. Biden at 48.3%. Buttigieg, 52.9%. Harris, 49.8%. Newsom, 50%. Whitmer, 52.2%. No Bernie, big oof. Bernie's not a viable candidate at this point. I'm telling you, Buttigieg has a serious... Dude, this is the internal polling for the Democrats. The Democratic staffers, their campaign strategists, are like pouring over they're getting the feed of like graph paper that's pouring out of the giant blocky 1980s computer, you know? They're getting like a big strip of marked paper with the numbers on it that they're looking through, and they're like panicking. Yeah, the ticker tape, exactly. The Democratic committee headquarters looks like Wall Street circa 1979 right now. Your head is blocking part of the table. That's my that's my webcam box, actually. But point taken. Kind of surprised that Whitmer pulled better than Newsom. I wonder if it's because she's a woman. Gay president when? Every president is gay as far as I'm concerned. It could be because she's better. When has a person being better had anything to do with Democrats liking them? Get real. All right. Guys, this is really goddamn bad. I hope you understand that. Puck News, I believe, is the one that broke the leaked poll. God bless whoever leaked this information, by the way. A confidential polling memo circulating among anxious Democrats is confirming some of their worst fears. Joe Biden's support is starting to tumble in key electoral battlegrounds in the wake of his disastrous debate performance in Atlanta, and Biden's diminishing standing is now putting previously non-competitive states like New Hampshire, Virginia, and New Mexico in play for Donald Trump. Guys, we could lose fucking Bernie Sanders' state. We could lose New Mexico. What's more, Biden has taken such a reputational hit that he's pulling behind other alternative Democratic candidates, including Kamala Harris and Gretchen Whitmer. That's Vermont? What did I... Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's irrevocable. Just delete my channel right away. You see the V? Delete it immediately. New Hampshire's libertarian land? Well, you're just saying that because of the New Hampshire libertarian account. Virginia. Not surprising about Virginia. You had a good run? Yeah, I had a good run. This is why I can't be a politician. If you're pulling behind Kamala Harris, it's fucking Jover. Yeah. No, it really is libertarian land. No, I know that, but like, it's everyone over there. My understanding of New Hampshire is like, every guy is, I love my AR-15 and my trans son, or something. I don't know. The memo was put together after the debate by Open Labs, a progressive nonprofit that conducts polling and message testing for a constellation of Democratic groups, including the 501c4 nonprofit associated with Future 4, the preferred super PAC for Biden's re-election campaign. Benjamin Gilbert Liff, it's not a matter of whether or not this data's numbers are like perfectly reliable. It means two things. For one, this is what the Democrats have to use, and this is the information they're getting. And for two, the fact that there's this shift, where is it? The fact that there's this like very distinct and consistent shift pre and post debate, that's significant. The reason why I don't believe in most polling is because if you look at the methodology of most polling, it's incredibly unreliable. A ton of the polling that you look at is literally just like hack polls quickly thrown out there that are done by third parties that just like irresponsibly, like with no control over their methodology or group selection, just like bleh, you know, and the information you get is really unreliable. But you can account for that with large groups of data, and you can account for that with like longitudinal analysis, like changes in the numbers over time. And consistently, I'm saying this data is biased in favor of Dems. The reality is usually 6% worse. Well, if that's the case, then we're really hosed anyway, you know? I'm afraid the far right will use this as propaganda that the Dems are weak. The Dems are weak. The far right is correct in that. The Dems are weak and it's their fault. The Dems are doing this. It's their fault. The far right is correct in their assessment that the Dems are weak. That's just accurate. The Democrats right now are barely able to raise concern over the fact that they're worried Donald Trump will use the powers that Joe Biden refuses to use. Like, we're in a position right now where the Democrats aren't even strong enough to bring attention to the fact that the Republicans will be willing to use power that the Democrats are too abstemious to use themselves. Jake Tapper reporting that Democratic governors held a secret meeting to discuss a replacement to Biden, but are too scared to address Biden directly. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's from Jake Tapper, man. Probably not just like a flippin' shit post. What is he gonna do? Bite you? I guess so. We'll have more on this at 4 p.m. ET on the lead CNN, but to be more precise, while there was widespread surprise by the call, Democratic governors Biden reached out to him. He did see Governors Murphy, Hochul, and Cooper at campaign stops. Biden hasn't personally reached out to Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries since the debate. What? Biden hasn't talked to Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries since the debate? What the is he in a cupboard under the stairs? Is he in a dog cage? What the fuck? Is he dead? It's because Hakeem has already said he wants to replace Biden. Those are the people you would talk to. Dead would be preferable. Yeah, at least then they'd have to replace him. We're completely fucked unless they replace Biden. With every passing day, I grow more convinced of this. I genuinely don't think I genuinely don't think we have any chance at all with Biden being the candidate. Axios talking about donors not liking Biden either. I wonder why donors like Faith might be shaken by the nearly dead, hobbling, senile fuckwit that's too egotistical to like cede power, you know? They're too scared to talk to Biden? Are you fucking kidding me? What happened to like serving the country and not yourself? We'll see, hoi polloi, but I'd be surprised. Biden will say they have the morals of an alley cat. Devastating. Let's hear more from Doggett. Doggett, someone else.
Respectfully call on him to do so. Now, this is happening as brand new CNN polling that was taken after the debate is giving us a fresh look at what voters think about Democrats' chances in November. And the numbers show this, that 75% of Americans think the party's chances would be better if someone else besides Biden were on the ticket.
No, never mind, man. Democrats, just go right ahead. Who the fuck gives a shit about democracy, right? Who cares, dude? Fucking 18 trillion people are like, please, holy shit, resign. Please, God, let anyone else be in charge. Nah, who cares, dude? It's his turn. Twice. It's his turn. All over again. Every day is one less day to signal boost the other candidates. Yep. Every day that goes on without him graciously conceding is another day robbed of the swath of future candidates, their potential to get their voices out there. We're at the looking glass, people. We got 4 months before the general, let alone the convention. Meanwhile, the Dems are talking about like bringing up the convention to squash any discussion of this. Insane. The convention's in 6 weeks. We need to open it now. We are like genuinely at the threshold. Everyone complicit in saying that, everyone complicit in defending the idea that Biden is like he needs to stay in, or like it would be disastrous to open up the convention. It would be disastrous to run with Biden right now. Suggesting otherwise is delusional. Yes, it genuinely does seem like right now Biden's just holed up at Camp David, listening to his wife and son tell him what a good boy he is. You know? Jen O'Malley Dillon gave staunch defense of Biden's health to donors today. He's probably in better health than most of us, she said. This is so fucking insulting, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? How do you remember how for years now, and all the way back to 2020, moderate liberals acted like you were doing some kind of conservative Donald Trump-esque strategy if you brought attention to the fact that Joe Biden is 50 million years old? Like, no, you can't bring up that fact. How dare you mention the stuttering and the apparent cognitive decline and the fact that he's super old and the fact that he has no like virality or vitality and like stamina or whatever. You know, like how do you how dare you bring that shit up? Biden being nominated in 3 weeks, conventions in 6. Unless they open it. Update, but Hunter is potentially moving off pro-run. Hunter Biden has joined meetings with President Biden and his top aides this week at the White House. 4 people familiar with the matter who are told the reaction from senior White House staff has been, what the hell is happening? You guys realize this is legitimately Trumpian, right? The fact that like in a pivotal moment for the future of this country, we're getting Jill and Hunter to be like the primary advisors for Joe Biden. Joe Biden won't meet with Schumer or fucking Jeffries, but he's up there in Camp David with his fucking son. Who does crack? Whoa, hold on. We're mad right now. Don't sell me on the good parts of Hunter Biden. Come on. What's Camp David? It's a former military base that got converted into like the presidential retreat. It's a famous lodge. They go over there to chill and strategize, basically. It's supposed to be pretty. There are photos. Goddamn right, Canoe. It's July. There's no other candidate that can take Biden. No, I don't want anyone to take Biden. Biden needs to drop out. I don't want Biden arguing with anyone. I want him to put his hands up in the air and step down. Anyone would do better than him right now. Pete Buttigieg, Whitmer, Newsom, even Kamala Harris, though I would really prefer it not be her. Michelle Obama, yeah, but she doesn't want to run. Can you fucking imagine if in a critical moment for our democracy, the top aides and like cabinet members along President Biden meet with him and his fucking son is there? Are you fucking kidding me? Is this the Trump White House? Is this 2018 again? Is this a joke? Who the fuck cares what you think? Hunter, I love you. Shut the fuck up. You're just a guy. Why is Jill encouraging him so much? Because they're human. Jill Biden isn't a grifter. She probably honestly loves her husband. Like vice versa with Hunter. I don't think there's any like broader conspiratorial narrative with Hunter or with Jill. I literally think that Biden just feels bad and his like loved ones are gassing him up. Like, it's very human. Unfortunately, it's coming at the cost of the fucking country. You know, my sympathies wane somewhat. Jenks said Jill Biden is power hungry. That's psychotic. There's no reason to believe Jill or Hunter are anything other than like just supportive, loving family members with Joe Biden. It's been pretty clearly demonstrated. Joe Biden is an unusually like good family man as politicians go.
The polling also shows the president's approval rating has sunk to a new low. It is now at just 36%. We're covering this from all angles. We have CNN's MJ Lee live at the White House. First, though, CNN's Harry Enton is here with us. Harry, break down some of the new polling for us.
I mean, these numbers are atrocious for Joe Biden. That's the only way you can put it. I guess the good news when you match him up against Donald Trump is that he hasn't lost any ground from where he was back in April, but he was trailing in April by 6 points, and he's trailing by 6 points now. And, you know, I just think you have to take back a step and look at where we were 4 years ago at this point. Joe Biden was leading Donald Trump by 9 points. This is just a completely different race, one in which Donald Trump has led basically continuously, at least during 2024, and one in which his lead, if anything, is holding or even getting larger right now, high single digits. And I think there's, of course, the big...
This analysis is kind of stupid and reductive for reasons I don't want to get into. I don't think these numbers mean anything. I agree that it's bad for Biden. I think this is a bad way to present it.
Question is, could another Democrat do better than Joe Biden against Donald Trump? And this new poll says, or at least suggests, that perhaps they could. Because take a look here. Yes, Joe Biden is trailing Donald Trump by 6 percentage points. But look at this. Versus Kamala Harris, the vice president, it's just a 2-point race with no clear leader. So when I look at polls like this and you see the first call for Joe Biden to get out of the race from a member of Congress on the Democratic side, I don't think polling like this will stop those calls. I would only expect them to get louder if polling like this holds in other surveys.
Heritage Foundation is preparing a legal challenge if Joe Biden drops out from the nomination. Which shows you that they're scared, by the way. The Heritage Foundation, which is, again, the architect, they are the architects of Project 2025. They know that Joe Biden is like the weak candidate they want to fight against. Much the same way that Hillary Clinton was the candidate that Trump wanted to fight against back in 2016. They know that they would have a lower shot against Buttigieg or Whitmer.
To serve his country, Biden should leave the race. That's the grim assessment from the New York Times editorial board, calling the president's candidacy a reckless gamble following his debate performance against former President Donald Trump.
But Biden is remaining defiant. He and Trump both returned to the campaign trail in dueling rallies yesterday.
We had a big victory against a man.
Pete Buttigieg couldn't win a general election. There's simply too much homophobia in this country for him to have a chance. Actually, I disagree. I think the opposite. By far, the majority of Americans are supportive of gay rights, in spite of Trump's support. You know, even Trump virtue signaled support for gay people back in 2016. I think it would actually be a plus for Buttigieg because it would juxtapose the homophobia of the right wing against him. Much the same way that Obama swept back in 2008. And part of that was the fact that the Republicans weren't used to fighting against like a black candidate because it brought out the latent racism of their, not latent, sorry, the very evident racism of their party. I think that the fact that Buttigieg is gay would force the Republicans into an awkward position where it'd be more difficult for them to talk about culture war issues. You know? Does that make sense? Did I just... I hate the Fox News player more than you could possibly imagine, man.
Most incompetent president in the history of our...
I know how to tell the truth.
I saw one poll that said Buttigieg would kill it in a lot of swing states. All that matters is winning in the swing states. Do we think Buttigieg would lose like California or New York? No, the only thing that matters is the swing states. Whitmer would do well in the swing states, so would Buttigieg, I think. I don't know as much about Newsom, because Newsom is kind of like establishment Dem, in the sense that being the governor of California gives you that association. I don't know if that would have as much swing state cred. I think Buttigieg would do well in the kind of like young guy dark horse candidate sense, and I think Whitmer brings that energy. I like Whitmer a lot. I think she's got the sauce, you know?
Here with reaction, Fox News contributor and former Congressman Jason Chaffetz. By the way,
I thought this video would be about the subject of the article, but it's Fox News, so it never will. Oh, we're doing this? We're doing the free article bullshit with foxnews.com as well? Great. Hold on. Yeah, we're talking here. I don't know enough about the specifics of this case to argue whether or not it would or wouldn't be legal.
Can we have any insight into why Harris is doing better than Biden?
Yeah, I think we do have an insight. You know, in
She's
this
not
particular
1 million.
poll, partisans on each side, you know, Democrats support Joe Biden overwhelmingly. Republicans support Donald Trump overwhelmingly. This is a fight for the center of the electorate. It's a fight for independents. And what do we see among independents? I think that this gives it away, right? If you look and you compare Donald Trump versus Joe Biden and you compare Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, what do you see? You see that Donald Trump leads among independents by 10 points when faced off against Joe Biden. But among independents, those voters that, of course, Donald Trump won in 2016 and then lost in 2020 to Joe Biden, you could see that Kamala Harris is actually ahead by 3 points. She's doing better in the Senate.
10-point difference in independents. Guys, we're falling on the sword right now. Don't forget, man. Don't forget. All of this, the Democrats are aware of it. They're doing this deliberately. They're looking at these numbers and flop sweating, and then they want to go and talk to Joe Biden, but he's too busy getting gassed up by his son and his wife. Like, that's the state of affairs we're in right now.
Center of the electorate. Now, of course, Harris is not as well known as Joe Biden. She's not as well known as Donald Trump either.
I don't want Harris, by the way. I don't want her. She's preferable to Biden at this point, but I don't want her. I would much prefer Buttigieg, Whitmer, Newsom.
But if you look at this point right at this time, what you see is that 22% of voters have no opinion of Kamala Harris. Either they have no opinion or they've never heard of her. Compare that to 8% for Joe Biden, 7% for Donald Trump. So at this point, in my mind, she's a generic Democrat. As she gets better known, those numbers against Donald Trump, given that Donald Trump is not popular at this point, those numbers can close even more. At this point, looking at this data, I am not really quite sure that Democrats can do any worse than they are doing with Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. They may, in fact, do better.
Very interesting. Harry, thank you for that new reporting on the polls. We appreciate it. Let's go to CNN's MJ Lee now.
How the fuck does 7% of America have no opinion of Trump? Welcome to the median voter, my friend. Welcome to welcome to the real world. The average arguing politics online, you know. All right, okay. I've constructed my axioms, and I believe that we should elect candidates that would maximize these values. Now, of course, if we take a look at like historical precedent for that, arguing with somebody in politics in real life, yeah, I've always been like a blondes guy, and I think blondes are just more like, you know, they got more energy. So yeah, I'm more of a Trump guy. I don't know if he's like actually blonde, but like, yeah, I like it, you know. And you have to argue with that. That's like the position you have to argue against to convince him.
Who is live for us at the White House. MJ, you have a sitting Democrat in Congress now calling on the president to resign. Has the White House responded?
Yeah, no official reaction yet, Brianna, from the White House or the campaign on the first sitting Democratic lawmaker, as you said, calling on the president to basically step aside and make way for somebody else. Of course, the big concern for the campaign is going to be...
Is it normal in some ways to hate undecided voters more than Republicans? I think that hating undecided voters is the mark of a healthy and well-adjusted person. I think that you should wake up every day and be somewhat animated by your overwhelming hatred of the median voter. You know, the median voter, the undecided voter, you know, it all blends together in like a steaming witch's cauldron of hate that you feel. I think that's normal and good. It's good for you.
Is this truly the beginning of the dam starting to break within the party? But what we do know is that, according to reporting from our Jake Tapper, some Democratic governors held a call yesterday and they discussed the concerns that they shared after what they saw on the debate stage last week. And they've asked for a meeting with the White House so that they can discuss those concerns, whether in person or virtually. And the White House is now looking at tomorrow as a potential date for this meeting for a group of Democratic governors, but it is clear that the emphasis coming from the governors is that this is a moment when they feel like they need to hear directly from the president. And
unironically, the fact that Pod Save is calling for Biden to step down feels very indicative of how bad things are. It's everyone. Biden's advisors, his staffers, governors, Hakeem Jeffries pressing for everybody. The internals are saying it. It's not just like a set of grifter Democrat, like Tulsi Gabbard types screeching about it because they want to get Fox News careers. Like everyone is saying this.
including the vice president actually as well from the...
Apparently Pod Save went back in what they said. They got a call from Obama.
White House, and some of these governors made clear in this discussion that one of the concerns they have is actually about going public with what they are worried about, because they think that it could have the possibility of resulting in the Biden campaign digging in even further.
Wait, did they actually get a call from Obama? Because I was making a joke, but multiple people now have said it as though it was like a matter-of-fact thing. Did they actually? Because they literally had staffers on the Obama. No, they did? It's mostly a joke. We heard it from Hassan. Is it a joke, or did they literally get a call from Obama? I like how Obama was like one of the most successful politicians in recent memory in terms of his ability to like seize the public attention and shift the party alongside him. And since leaving the presidency, all he does now is occasionally call people behind the scenes to tell them that the world can't be better than it is. He's done nothing with it. He literally just like once a year he makes a Thanksgiving tweet, and he calls people sometimes to tell them to not get too rowdy, and that's it.
Now, I should note one interesting note is that we've not gotten any readouts from the White House since the debate last week of the president reaching out directly, making phone calls or otherwise to top Democratic elected officials like a Leader Jeffries or a Senator Schumer. And that seems incredibly notable given the gravity of the situation right now.
Yeah, the fact that Biden isn't like going crazy and contacting everyone is genuinely insane. Like, do you have any idea how bad that is? Do you have any idea how like bad things must be behind the scenes for, in this environment, Joe Biden to not be out there making like 57 calls a day?
Yeah, it should be alarming to those lawmakers that they are not hearing from the president, because a normal reaction is that he should be calling up everyone and assuaging concerns, doing whatever he can. I wonder about donors, how concerned they are, because I know you have some new information about the campaign's attempt to...
Whoa, hold on. White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients is holding an all-staff call tomorrow at 12:30, 9:30 my time. Ooh, there's no way, right? There's no way it's it. There's no way. I want it to be so badly, but there's no way, right? There's no shot. They would have to hold an all-staff call around the same time as, or a little bit before, like the announcement got made public, because of the gravity of the announcement. What else could it realistically be? We're talking about the Democrats. I feel like the all-staff call is going to be, hey guys, thanks for joining the call. Just to let you know, everything's hunky-dory, stay the course, and then it'll be over. Like, yeah, it's so psychotic, Adam, something. It's crazy. All of the like myth of institutional competence dissolving into thin air the moment the stats and the numbers become inconvenient to the Democratic establishment, you know? It's all like, oh, we're the responsible ones, we're the adults in charge, until every number points against Joe Biden winning and he's getting like coddled by his son and wife.
Assure them.
Yeah, and that level of outreach is very much going on, as we've reported over the last couple of days. And yesterday there was a call that the campaign chair, Jen O'Malley-Dillon, held with hundreds of donors. And Jeff Zeleny and I spoke with a number of the participants, and it was clear, at least on this call, that O'Malley-Dillon wanted to make clear that they were not changing course, at least.
Is it possible Biden was planning on stepping down all week and the media was wrong about it? Very unlikely, but somewhat possible. The reason for that being is that this is not information that they would be willing to leak at all before making the big announcement. So if they're getting hounded by the media, their reflexive announcement would be, no, everything is fine, you know? Like, this is the case for basically any big announcement. Like, they're not ready to say it until they're ready to say it, but I would be shocked if they're going to say it. It's possible. I would be very surprised.
At least not right now. And she apparently, according to participants, offered a very staunch defense of the president's health. At one point, according to two participants, she said, quote, he's probably in better health than most of us. Now, one of the participants reacted to this by saying they found this an offensive thing to say, and basically dismissive of how widespread the concerns have been and how deep the concerns have been about the president's fitness to serve. Just one thing I will note coming out out of the campaign today is that they did release their June fundraising numbers. They said that the campaign had raised $127 million in that month, that this was the best month to date. So far in the cycle, they now have $240 million of cash on hand. But of course, Brianna, despite that bright spot for the campaign, the problem right now for the campaign isn't money, isn't fundraising.
Yeah, no, it's not. Also, the Democrats don't know how to spend money, okay? I know enough to know that very often they get this money and they're like, and then they like burn it in a pile and do a little rain dance. They don't like, how often do you guys see that money getting flexed, you know? They suck at spending it.
It is the question about the viability of the candidate himself.
All right, MJ, I do want to tell you, and this may be the first time you're hearing this as well, but we have just gotten word that ABC News has announced that President Biden will be doing an extended interview with George Stephanopoulos. We expect, as I understand it, this will air in its entirety on Sunday, but I think we are going to be seeing some of the clips of this before then. This is, or pardon me, July 5th, I should say. This is very interesting, MJ, because this was something we know that the campaign had been considering, and there's going to be, we should be clear, a lot riding on this interview, right?
Absolutely, Brianna. This is going to be the first time that we are really seeing the president in an unscripted setting. You know, so far since Thursday night, we've seen the president in different settings in public, but basically every single time he has been using a teleprompter, using prepared remarks, and also he hasn't taken any questions from members of the media, including last night when he gave remarks here at the White House. So the fact
that's another gigantic red flag for things moving forward. Like Joe Biden's responses during the debate were prepared but not read from a teleprompter. Most of the time when we see him in public, he's reading from a teleprompter. We actually have not seen him give unscripted responses in how long? A very long time. State of the Union address, teleprompter. His speech after the debate, teleprompter. When was the last time you saw him just chill and talk? That's the difference, man. Donald Trump doesn't use a teleprompter. Well, of course he does, but he often doesn't. He just goes up there and rambles in a lot of cases. And he can ramble just fine. Do we know that Joe Biden can even communicate when he's not reading off of a teleprompter or reading prepared responses? I did not see that shit, Demon Mama. What the fuck are you talking about?
That he is going to be sitting down with a trusted TV anchor and taking a whole lot of questions about anything and everything, and is using this as an opportunity to basically show the side of me that you saw on the debate stage on Thursday night. That was a fluke. That was just one.
Reminded of my favorite Joe Biden teleprompter moment.
Yeah. By the way, remember when he was trying to deal with COVID, he said, just inject a little bleach in your veins.
Is that it? No, not this part.
He missed it. All went to his hair.
Oh! What? Oh, what is this? Just show me the clip. I'm not watching your shit, man. Joe Biden again deploys teleprompter, takes no questions 19 minutes ago. That was good?
I see an America where we defend democracy, not diminish it. I see an America where we protect freedoms, not take them away. I see an economy that grows from the middle out and the bottom up, where the wealthy pay their fair share, so we can have child care, paid leave, and so much more, and still reduce the federal deficit and increase economic growth. Folks, imagine what we can do next. 4 more years, pause.
Fuck me, dude. We're doomed. God damn it, man.
Bad night. That's what the campaign has been saying. But here is sort of the President Biden that Democrats are hoping to see, that is sort of in charge and in command of the facts. We'll see. You know, this is going to be a gamble, but frankly, I think the campaign and the White House really had no choice. We've seen surrogates and supporters of the campaign basically saying it is imperative that the president get out there in these kinds of settings, unscripted settings, and prove that he can do the job and that he is fit to serve.
Nice. We're so fucked. Oh, this it? Biden's campaign rips, quote, bedwetting brigade in fundraising blast. Love that, man. Oh, you think that I performed miserably in the debate where everyone on earth agrees I performed miserably? You're all a bunch of pansies for thinking I did poorly. Accept the Democratic mandate. Vote for your God, Emperor. That's cool. Wow, this is a cursed fucking photo. Jesus Christ. Some like Junji Ito shit. Did like it's uncanny, like looking like SCP shit, looking down a long hallway. Plug walk. Shut the fuck up. It's not Pride anymore. Get back of the line, Skittle Squad. The bedwetting brigade is calling for Joe Biden to, quote, drop out. This is the best possible way for Donald Trump to win, for us to lose. It's so over, man. At the end of the day, we'd switch to candidates who would, according to polls, be less likely to win than Joe Biden. This is factually incorrect. They're just lying in the... Yeah, of course they are. Joe Biden, the only person to ever defeat Donald Trump. Do they think that's a compelling argument? They directly call PodSave self-important podcasters in the email. You can tell they're upset about it. Where? Where do they say that? That's John response. Better to be right with piss pants? Yeah, I guess. Sheesh. For now, the Biden campaign has renewed a fight with a favorable foil, the media. You see the awesome clips of our supporters on the tarmac doing the Cupid shuffle at 2 a.m. on the night of the debate. Read a Biden fundraising email from the weekend. Well, no, probably because the media is too busy hyperventilating and trying to manifest drama to boost ratings. Me when I'm not mad? The what? This is like... I genuinely feel like the Biden team on the back end is like like the vibes inside the office must be putrid right now. Like nobody knows what's going on. Half the people there want to leave and or kill themselves. Like people are losing their shit. They're like, we have to get a fundraising email out, and the most psychotic like pro Biden staffer is like, I'll get on it, sir. You know, like it's rancid vibes. I don't think there's any incumbent advantage anymore, man. I think it's an incumbent disadvantage. Pod Save America host. How crazy is it that the Biden campaign is so defensive and entitled that they're attacking Pod Save America, the biggest DNC dick suckers in the universe, over criticism? Can you fucking imagine? They've spent literally like years and years and years being some of the biggest establishment shills out there. And then like they, along with the entire universe, agree that Joe Biden has to step down. And it's like, oh, these self-important podcasters. This is exactly why people accuse the Democrats of being arrogant coastal liberal elites. And this is something they do worse than Republicans. Republicans are afraid of their base. Democrats aren't. Democrats just aren't. Democrats, the establishment, the DNC, does not adjust their behavior to account for the will of the people. They do not. They know fully well that their constituency, or at least the relevant part of it, is a group of like neurotic, submissive do-nothings who worship the establishment and have no interest in meaningfully challenging the DNC, whereas the Republicans like periodically receive death threats from the crazier elements of their party. Like the Republicans have always lived in fear of their base, which is why they've catapulted themselves over into the far right in order to accommodate the interests of their constituency. It's insane. I think you're being a little unfair to Pod Save. I think I could be very unfair to Pod Save for my entire life. and it wouldn't be enough. I have something. I cannot talk to another person right now. Yeah, no Fed posting, guys. Democrats hate their base. They hate their base. Democrats are contemptuous of their base, or towards their base. 100% they are. Even Joe Manchin, the most loyal Democratic ally. Manchin threatened to break with Biden before senior Democrats intervened. Things are going great, man. The debate performance so good that it's literally fracturing your party. Am I hearing Vosh make the anti-electoralism argument? No shot, dude. You're correct. No shot, dude. You did not hear that. Thank you for clarifying, though. Serious question. Do you think Trump likes his base? I think Trump likes applause, but I think also because Trump likes applause, he will adjust his messaging and his strategy to appeal to the interests of the people who vote for him. He changes his messaging in order to appeal to those who vote for him. Does Biden? That's the difference. The Republicans understand where power comes from. Power comes from fundamentally the mandate of the people. No matter how authoritarian you are, if everyone in your country hates you, that's it for you, buddy. You have to build a system that supports your rule. And that's why Republicans put effort into messaging, top-down messaging. They use the bully pulpit. They argue, and they shout, and they scream. And do they lie? All the time, man. But that doesn't matter for power building. Lying is irrelevant. The truthfulness of the statement is irrelevant. What matters is the consistency, the effectiveness of the narrative. Democrats don't care about this. They do not care. God, this is a creepy little fucking walk. I had an hour-plus call with a DC resident who really thinks Biden needs to stay in or else to lose. Think of it this way. There are lots of people who will not vote for Biden but might vote for another Democratic candidate. But the people who want to vote for Biden no matter what will probably vote for any Democratic candidate put forward. How many Biden loyalists are there who wouldn't vote for another frontline Democrat? How many people are there like that? Biden's not he's not Sanders. He's not some out there like moderate appealing. He's like the establishment. Who would be so much of an establishment Dem that they would worship Biden to the point that they would take him but not vote for a replacement Democratic candidate? I genuinely don't know who that person is. This is one of the reasons why, and people love to forget this, there's a difference between popularity in the primary and popularity in the general. Because in the primary, your ability to appeal to independents or even moderate Republicans is irrelevant, completely irrelevant. All that matters is appealing to your loyal party base. But the loyal party base might be willing to vote for the more out there candidate because they understand the importance of a Democrat winning over a Republican, but that out there candidate might be better at appealing to independents. This is why Bernie Sanders lost to Hillary Clinton in the primary, but would have won in the general. I firmly believe this. This is reflected in how well Dems poll in congressional races versus how well Biden polls. Yeah, Biden's approval rating is what, 36% now? Whereas in a lot of congressional, you can look at congressional districts where the Democrats are like overwhelmingly favored to win, but then you look at the presidential margins and they're a lot weaker, you know? But independent/swing voters don't exist in significant numbers. Loki Esquire, you're the opposite of true. There are more independent/swing voters than there are Democrats or Republicans. They're the largest base. It's like 30% Republicans, 30% Democrats, and 40% like undecided/independent/moderate/whatever the fuck, you know? The massive like bulk of people in this country that don't have a strong commitment to either party. The only thing that matters are swing states, you know? We're not losing California. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust polls? I trust polls when they agree with my narrative, and when they disagree with my narrative, I think they're made by the devil / Hitler. I saw Benjamin. Who do you think is most likely to replace Biden, and who would you rather have over him? There are 4 viable candidates. It's Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, and Pete Buttigieg. And of those 4, my least favorite is Kamala Harris. My most favorite is Whitmer. Next up is Buttigieg, and then Gavin Newsom. I don't think Gavin Newsom has the ability to mobilize as much support. Pritzker gang? Maybe. To mobilize as much support in swing states, though. Would there be problems with drastically switching the candidate? Yes, but there'd be problems with running with the current candidate as well. Whitmer locking down Michigan would be great. That's another benefit to Whitmer specifically as well. Whitmer would lock down the Michigan vote. That'd be one swing state, like, guaranteed with Whitmer, yeah. Whereas Gavin Newsom would lock down California, which is already going to vote blue, so it wouldn't... Yeah, Civ bonus trade, exactly. You know, guaranteed Michigan support. Remember when when Warren lost PA? I hate her. Ooh, I hate her. Yeah, DM, the energy that would be mobilized by switching out the candidates or opening up the convention would be so massive. It would force the Republicans out of the discourse for, like, months. Did I say PA? MA. Shut up. It's my right as a political streamer to fuck up, like, states and where people are from 4 to 5 times every stream. Also, give me your money. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Billions of dollars of free media where Dems are forced to talk about what they believe. Yeah, no, literally, it would be an ungodly amount of free advertising for their case. Who's out there watching Biden? Genuine question. Who's out there looking at Biden's speeches? I mean, we do sometimes. They're boring and samey. No one gives a shit. Everyone already knows. One of the big problems with the turnout in this race is the fact that, like, everyone already knows both candidates. We could fix that by having new blood. I don't think Whitmer could not pull as well as Buttigieg would in the swing state. I mean, again, like, I don't know for sure. I think Buttigieg and Whitmer would both have a decent shot. I don't think they'd be guarantees, but I think they'd be better than Biden. Even establishment hardliners are floating the Biden dropout. With Rep. Clyburn?
Popularity. How would you feel if there is a decision for him to step down, if he decides that, and he has to decide that? Or if the party pressures him to do that? How would you feel if they worked around and tried to go around Kamala Harris because of her lack of high poll numbers and popularity and broadly based? Do you think it's hers to have if it...
What happens if Biden does win? Well, that would be maybe the funniest possible outcome. So, I don't know, man. Make of that what you will.
It's not his?
I will support her if he were to step aside. But I want to support her going forward at sometime in the future. I want this ticket to continue to be Biden-Harris. And then we'll see what happens after the next election. No, this party should not in any way do anything to work around Ms. Harris. We should do everything we can to bolster her, whether it's in second place or at the top of the ticket.
That's pretty significant, dude. Clyburn is pretty establishment, right? He has a lot of pull in like the Black Caucus as well. Him being like, yeah, you know, I'm with Harris even if she's at the top of the ticket is kind of like, yeah. I mean, I don't want her to be at the top of the ticket, but still. The Black what? Caucus. He is the establishment Democrat. Yeah, I mean, he's up there. He's so fucking old. Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot more sauce in him than Biden does. What if they put Clyburn up? Please no. Please no. All right, guys. That's enough on this topic, at least for now. We're probably going to have more info tomorrow. Want to see something wacky? You see this? A new sexual assault allegation against RFK Jr. revealed in Vanity Fair. This one's pretty wild. Hold on. This one's pretty wild. The fall of '98, the Kennedys hired a 23-year-old woman, Eliza Cooney, as their part-time babysitter. One night, she attended a meeting in the family kitchen with Kennedy and another young riverkeeper volunteer named Murray Fisher to discuss business when she felt Kennedy's hand moving up and down her leg under the table. She tried making sense of the incident in her diary, which I have read. In the entry dated November 7th, 1998, continues on. This is very Kennedy behavior, so, you know, the family blood running strong, okay? In the back of my mind, I was hoping it wasn't what it actually was, says Cooney, now 48. Reached for comment, Fisher says he worked closely with Cooney and liked her, but wasn't aware of her alleged experiences with Kennedy at the time and now feels bad for her. Weeks later, she discovered Kennedy standing in her bedroom. She saw that her diary, which chronicled her daily activities and detailed her romantic life with her boyfriend, was open next to her bed. She was shocked when a shirtless Kennedy, then 45, asked her to rub lotion on his back. Okay. Yeah, naked and oiled up, man. Naked and oiled up. Oh, we'll get to it, NPC Porky. She did it reluctantly and quickly. It was totally inappropriate, she says, adding that she stopped recording these experiences in her journal, fearing Kennedy would later read them. A few months later, Cooney says she was rifling through the kitchen pantry for lunch after a yoga class, still in her sports bra and leggings, when Kennedy came up behind her, blocked her inside the room, and began groping her, putting his hands on her hips and sliding them up along her ribcage and breasts. My back was the door of the pantry, and he came up behind me, she says, describing the alleged sexual assault. I was frozen, shocked. Very Kennedy. Yeah, Kennedy behavior right there, exactly. Why is everyone evil? Yeah, good question, man. Politics, huh? He was interrupted by a worker who entered the kitchen. To announce his presence, the man, according to Cooney, said something like, "Don't do anything I wouldn't do," or "Don't do anything you wouldn't want your wife to know about." Man, how often must RFK been sexually assaulting people for that to be the default response of a work? Because if I came in and I saw, like, my boss and a coworker getting handsy, my first impression, charitably speaking, would be, oh, they have an affair, not, oh, he has a habit. Does that make any sense? Like, the way the response, the way the worker opened suggests to me that it's like a common thing, which, you know, Kennedy, what are you going to do? Has he responded? Oh boy, has he. Hold on.
I am not a church boy. I am not running like that. I said I had a very, very rambunctious youth.
Oh, hold on. Let's get the full video here.
with what looks like a dog, and also a barbecue.
Oh yeah, he ate like a barbecued dog or something.
Dog. I'm not going to show the picture as a dog lover. I know you have pets yourself, and also a sexual assault allegation from one of your former nannies. So I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Yeah. Sorry. The article is a lot of garbage. The picture that they said is of me eating a dog. It's actually me eating a goat in Patagonia on a whitewater trip many years ago on the ONLYF River. They say there's an expert. They have an expert that has identified that as a dog carcass.
Yeah,
it's just not true. So, and in terms of the other allegations, I've said this from the beginning. I am not a church boy.
There we go. I wanted to see if there was any more context where he led into it, but no, fully. His opening response, the first thing he said about the sexual assault accusation that we just read is, I'm not a church boy. Kennedys, man.
I am not running like that. I said I had a very, very rambunctious youth.
45 years old.
My announcement speech that if I have so many skeletons in my closet.
That's crazy, man. That's your response? This has got to be the wildest response I've ever heard to a Me Too accusation. I'm not a church boy. I've got plenty of skeletons in my closet. Really? Would you like to share some of them with the class? He's very honest. Maybe he would make a good president.
That if they could all vote, I could run for king of the world. Mm-hmm. So, this Vanity Fair is recycling 30-year-old stories, and I'm not, going to comment on the details of any of them, but
gets accused of sexual assault. If we went over every accusation of sexual assault that I've been involved in, we'd be here for the rest of our lives. Let's move forward. Okay, all right. Okay. I mean, the article just listed one. I didn't know you had that many. I am who I am.
You're talking there.
I am who I am. What's that? Is that the Kevin Spacey argument? That's crazy, man. He was just a young 45-year-old boy.
About the nanny situation. I mean, I do have to ask her. I mean, are you denying it or not?
I'm not going to comment on it.
Jesus Christ.
I gave you the opportunity, and officially it's a goat. I didn't know necessarily about what did they say? It's a spare rib of a canine. I think that's what they said for their identification. But we've got it from you. I'll let the
even Sauger, and Sauger is like an RFK simp too, because he's a moron. That's crazy, man.
Anatomy experts be the ones who can determine that.
So that's 100% true. Oh, of course it is. Why would he respond that way if it wasn't? That's crazy. Jesus Christ, man. Remember when Cuomo responded by showing pictures of him kissing and touching other people too? Yeah, I do. But like, even then, Cuomo was trying to frame it as like, I'm just an old Italian man who loves being handsy. It's not me sexually assaulting people. It's just that's my style of communication. Whereas RFK, not saying that's good, by the way. Whereas RFK Jr., yeah, Cuomo's response was basically, hey! Whereas like RFK Jr.'s response is, listen up, okay? Yeah, we know I've done this a lot. Let's not dwell on it, all right? I have no comment on this. It's happened a million times. Let's move on. It's like, okay, all right, okay. The Italian trait of groping people. I mean, he's not wrong. Maybe the central theme here is Catholics, right? RFK Jr. and Cuomo. Cuomo's Catholic, right? He has to be Catholic. I don't know for sure that he's Catholic, but he has to be Catholic, right? It's Cuomo, right? No? It's Catholics? Okay. Biden's also really touchy. Yeah, that's true. That's pretty true. Yeah, to everybody attacking RFK Jr. and Cuomo, you don't have Italian relatives and it shows. Maybe stay in your lane. This was him eating the dog. Yeah, not gonna lie, don't care about the dog thing. We kill like 1 billion cows a day. Cows are super smart. I don't think, that's like very much a Western comfort thing, Like will like basically torture dogs to make them like attack vehicles for cops, and slaughter cows and pigs that are just as smart as dogs. But then like dogs are our best friends or whatever. But like, you know, it's like, okay, all right, like, you know, cats are like house friends, but or dogs are house friends. But then you go shoot wolves or whatever. I don't. It's just a cultural thing. I don't care. Now, as for the sexually assaulting the babysitter thing, I think, you know, I think that's pretty bad. I think that's pretty bad, in my humble opinion. What happened with lying about sexual assault? Why not say that you didn't? I think the reason why RFK Jr. and other people don't want to say they didn't is because if they say they didn't, it kind of spurs their victim to provide evidence or to like argue more publicly about it. Whereas if they say no comment, they don't. They're trying to like avoid a situation where the accuser feels compelled to go public and be much more aggressive in challenging it, either like legally or socially speaking, in the court of public opinion. There's like 30 more people who will come forward for it. Well, I mean, he's basically admitted that nothing compelled him to say he had a bunch of skeletons in his closet. That was like a completely unforced error. There was nothing in the universe that made him say that. Like, he didn't need to say that at all. That was just the brainworms talking, man. That's crazy. Hounded by his ghosts. At least the man is honest, I guess. Yeah, maybe it would be refreshing to have him as president purely because he's too brain damaged to lie properly. Like, he would, like, maybe even more so than Trump, he would be the one to let us know what's going on at Area 51. You know what I mean? He would tell us, like, the current state of our, like, cloaking technology, orbital laser, you know, fucking space program, bitch. Maybe. Maybe we need that. Just keep 22-year-old babysitters away from him, I guess. God, the shows up in your room and asks you to rub lotion into his back thing, that's like such a... That seems like the way you would depict a creepy guy in like a... In like a... What's the actor I'm thinking of? He did Austin Powers, Mike Myers movie. You know what I mean? That's like a joke way of showing a creepy old guy. Like he's like, yeah, can you rub lotion on my back? What are you doing, man? Can't you be normal and be like, hey, suck my dick? That's sexual assault still. It's not morally better. It's just, I feel like you're doing a bit. What the fuck? Zap Brannigan. It feels like a Zap Brannigan bit. It does. It literally does. Yeah. It's crazy. It's an excuse to get her to... No, I know that. Okay. I have never in my life, with the beautiful men and women and non-binary people, nice try woke mob, you're not getting me today, that I have been with, I have never in my life thought like I would like to be, you know, touched by this individual. I'm going to ask them to rub lotion onto my back. I have never, maybe this is like an erotic thing to people who grew up back when the like ozone layer had a hole in it. So they would all ritualistically apply sunscreen every morning before going outside. I have no idea what, like, is this like a pre-internet thing where it was like, yeah, like obviously I lather my entire body with FPS 80 before I get out there. I have no idea where this comes from. The idea of like, oh, it's erotic to apply lotion to a person's back. Have you had lotion on your hands? It's a fucking inconvenience, man. I hate having lotion on my hands. I hate that shit. It's all greasy. You know, I know there are some types of sunscreen or lotion or whatever that aren't greasy, and like, you know, it varies, obviously, depends on your skin type or whatever, but like, rub it in. You can rub it in, but that doesn't get rid of the icky feeling on your hands, like, unless it's specifically like the really water-based kind, where it like evaporates almost immediately after you're done. But that's not the kind that you apply on the back. That's like specifically hand lotion. You don't apply that kind to the back. Because the skin on your palms and the skin on your back is different kinds of skin. Like, this is, like, more absorbent. There are more sweat glands in the palm, so it's more, like... Whatever. And putting on a shirt with a lotion back is so disgusting. Yeah, 100%. I can't stand the feeling of sunscreen on, which is like the only time I put lotion on my back. I apply facial moisturizer all the time, but for the rest of my body, you're on your own, man. Okay, you're getting the moisture in the atmosphere and nothing else. All right. If I go outside, I'll put like if I'm out there on a hot day, I'll put like sunscreen on the back of my neck and my like ears and stuff. But even that, I really don't like, man. I really hate that feeling. I hate that feeling. You know, because maybe this is because I'm like a hairier guy because I've got hair in the back of my neck, even when I have had like a recent haircut. But like rubbing the lotion in, and it's just like the texture of like you've got hair in your body, and then you've got like the lotion on. I can't stand that shit, man. Just say you have skin flakes and you're beautiful, chosen. I don't have skin flakes. I've never had dandruff. I just fucking hate the feeling of the greasy sunscreen. Try Korean sunscreen. It's so much lighter and better. Why the fuck would Korean sunscreen be? All right. I mean, maybe. I'm not doubting you. Try it. Do it. Okay. No. Okay. I'm not doubting you. I'm not doubting you. Japanese lotions are good. Japanese everything is better. Haven't you gotten like Japanese denim? Fuck those projectile looms. Skincare is way more common in South Korea. I do wonder about that because I've played Lies of P and a few other like Korean MMORPG type games, and it seems like their character design preferences are always like hyper-realistic doll. I feel like if you went purely off of video games, every single Korean looks like the doll from Bloodborne, where they just like have bloom turned up to 200% and they're just insanely like shiny and smooth. And it's kind of wild. So I mean, I don't know. Saying you put on sunscreen then a shirt is peak gamer. Do you ever go outside? You put sunscreen on the back of your neck and your ears and your forehead and stuff, even if you put a shirt on. Also, the sun can get through your shirt too. What are you talking about? I think they thought you meant underneath the shirt. I talked about the back of the neck. You said putting sunscreen on your back feels bad with a shirt. Yeah, like if you're going down to the beach and you're going to be shirtless at the beach, but you're wearing like a camp collar shirt on your way to the beach, like you're on the bus. Like, I'm not going to be shirtless on the bus. I was in LA, man. I'm not going to be shirtless in the LA, like, 28 line, running down, fucking all the way from Beverly Hills to Santa Monica, shirtless, packed in next to 30 other people. Fuck that. I'm having my shirt on then, but then you get to the beach and you take the shirt off, like, you know. You put lotion on at the beach? But you're waiting at the bus stop for like 15. It's the LA bus, man. It doesn't come every 2 minutes, and there's rarely like a proper awning or whatever to be under. Just put it on at the beach. You're at the bus stop for like 15. Summer LA heat, 15 minutes at the bus stop in summer LA. You'll get toasted in that time. Are you kidding me? I'm not applying lotion at the bus stop. You put it on at home, and then you go to the bus stop, and then you go to the beach, and then you take off the shirt, and then you reapply the sunscreen. What is wrong? This is like the most normal thing in the world to me. These bitches are so stupid. I'm sorry I have to deal with them. I get attacked for the wildest shit, man. The wildest shit. Now I get a nice tan. I don't tan. Nah, America is a wild place. What am I describing that's wild? You people are fucking crazy, dude. Take care of your skin, okay? You ever seen those photos of truckers where the sun's always hitting like the right side of their face, but not the like the left side, but not the right side of their face? You guys got to take care of your skin, man. Look at that. It's like a person, the light's always hitting her face on the left side because she's on the driver's seat on the truck, so the left side of her face gets the sun, but not the right side. You got to take care of your skin, man. UV light is going to kill you. It's a dude. I can't tell with old people. Who cares? That's one person. Are you arguing against the concept that UV radiation ages your skin? What is happening? That's just what? It's the sun and smoking. Those are the two things. The UV radiation and the smoke both damage the part of the cell that does the elasticity thing that keeps your skin looking young. In fairness, that guy was a former tobacco lobbyist. Yeah, many such cases in my chat. I think the chatter was being dumb and thought that was two people spliced together. Okay. I don't know. I don't know, man. All right. Whatever. Sun left, smoke right, evens it out. That's true. Wait, is smoking bad for your skin? Extremely. Yes. Weed too? Yeah, but people tend to smoke less weed than cigarettes, so the smoke isn't usually as much of a factor. Effect of smoking, sun, and stress on the skin of twins. We love our comparative analyses. God damn. That's pretty significant, man. Susan smoked for 16 years of her life, sunbathes, and weighs 15 pounds less. And Susan's on the right. Researchers love twins? Yeah, of course. Or identical twins or whatever. They both look pretty similar. Well, whatever. Why are we on this? Less additives too, although all smoking does damage. Tobacco is just really bad. Yeah. Like the smoking, any kind of smoking will do some kinds of damage. Just smoking tobacco due to like frequency of use and the additives and stuff will tend to do more. There's not really much in the way of additives to smoking weed because you're literally just smoking the fucking plant in a lot of cases. It does not, the orange leftist. So glad I got a skincare routine in place finally. I genuinely think that most people could just benefit from like somewhat frequent exfoliation and applying a facial moisturizer every day. I genuinely think that would be like enough for most people. That a lot of people like, because the one thing, dude, I had the most like red pilled fucking like head explode moment. Okay, up until recently, I didn't know much at all about hair care. I basically shampooed every day and just applied like hairspray when I wanted my hair to stay in place. And to be honest, it worked out fine because I have very dense hair and my hair is naturally pretty oily, meaning that shampooing every day doesn't like leave it that dry and fine. But on the advice of chat and some other people in my life, I'm trying to be a little bit better about it, like shampooing every other day and being a little bit more pointed with conditioning and stuff. And what I noticed while I was in Barcelona was that my hair looked worse than ever before. And I didn't understand why, because I was like shampooing every other day and conditioning every day. And it wasn't until my friend looked through the cheap conditioner that I was using and the primary ingredient was alcohol that I realized it was drying out my hair more than it had ever been dried before. And I was like, what is the point of conditioner that like mega dries your hair? I looked through conditioners at the grocery store and a bunch of them were the same. A bunch of them were alcohol based, like cetyl alcohol. Like a majority of them were cetyl alcohol. Check the next time you're at a grocery store. Ingredients, cetyl alcohol. Like a lot of them had it as a main or one of the main ingredients. And I asked my friend, like my friend who knows a lot more about hair care than me, like, why would they do this? Nobody's hair benefits from this. My hair is pretty oily, so you'd think if anything, mine would benefit from this, and it doesn't. Who benefits from this? It makes my hair look terrible. And my friend matter-of-factly was like, well, yeah, they do that to ruin your hair, so you buy more of their products to fix it. And I looked more into it, and that's actually true. Yeah, it is a literal objective downgrade to your hair that they only do because you buy like 50 hair care products in a big like flurry, not knowing what you're doing, and you're like, oh shit, I have to like da-da-da-da-da, and it's literally that. And it's like, damn, I fucking hate the beauty industry. Well, I guess this is like a broader capitalism thing, but like, holy shit, man. Fuck, mine as a 2. Yeah, don't do that shit. Yeah. I think alcohol can be fine as like a very low tier ingredient because there are some benefits to it, but in a lot of cases, it's literally like 40% of the content of the mixture of the conditioner, you know? You got to check that shit. It's crazy, man. Lather, rinse, repeat's also a scam to make you go through shampoo faster. Oh, and there was a Technology Connections video on this where the design of detergent caps encourages you to use way more detergent than you need in modern concentrated clothing detergent containers, where they'll concentrate the detergent that mixes with the water, but the cap will be the same size, so it'll be like, yeah, use like 4 times as much as you need, which not only fucks up your clothing because you're over detergenting it, but you also go through the detergent significantly faster than you need to with no benefit at all. There's so much stuff that we use that's just bad. Dryer sheets, bad. Like if you want to make your clothes smell good, add some white vinegar to the wash. Literally, that's all you need. Like 99% of the time, that is literally all you need. Yeah, huge scam. There's so much shit that's just a fucking scam, dude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need barely any detergent, like nothing. Fabric softener, scam. That's not how it works. Fabric softens with the fibers. You can't add a liquid to soften. That's not how it works. It's all a scam, dude. It's crazy. And I think that to a large extent, it's also like that. White vinegar with the detergent. Yeah, white vinegar like obliterates smells, you know? If ever you have like a cat that's peed on something, because cats sometimes the pee is stinky or whatever, you can toss that shit in, detergent, some vinegar, kablamo, you're good. Any like stinky stain on clothing, like you fuck up while eating or whatever, I don't know. But vinegar itself is stinky. But not after you wash it. I think there's a bunch of different kinds of alcohol, Rainbow. I'm no expert on the subject. I encourage you guys to look into it. I'm not like super knowledgeable on it. Electric toothbrush. I mean, if you like an electric toothbrush, go for it, but it's not necessary. Didn't the ancient Romans use piss to clean their clothes? I mean, I think ammonia can be helpful. I wouldn't recommend this tactic today. I think that you could use white vinegar and do a good job with it. Anyway, I think a lot of skincare is like this too. Have you ever seen these like Patrick Bateman-esque skincare videos on TikTok where women are like, yeah, here's my 57-step technique, and after all of it, they look the same or maybe a little worse because they look all shiny? I genuinely think all you need is exfoliation to like remove abrasion, remove dead skin, and open up the pores, and then moisturizer because you need moisturizer. And I genuinely think for like, not like that'll get you like 90% of the way there. And if you, that extra 10%, that's like your magic, man. That extra 10% is probably foundation, to be honest with you. Do you moisturize the skin under your beard? I try to sometimes, but it can be a bit like annoying, so I don't do it as often. But yeah, I try to. I heard that's why there's alcohol in chapstick too. You're right! That's why when you use chapstick a bunch, it leads to your fucking, your lips getting chapped more easily, so you have to use more chapstick. Lip balm. There's so much shit that's like this, dude. Yep. Blistex medicated lip balm. Active ingredients: dimethicone, octinoxate, octisalate, and then inactive ingredients, aka the stuff that's not actively helping you. Beeswax, that's the substance that actually makes it like spread and smooth across your lips. Camphor, cetyl alcohol. Nyaha. This is straight up misinfo. Cetyl alcohol is a fatty alcohol. Well, doesn't it still evaporate? That's what alcohol is used for like chemical cleaners and stuff. No? Chemistry is complicated? An industrial lubricant, primary ingredient in fuel, chemical intermediates, and plasticizers. Fatty alcohol with It's too big to evaporate. I don't know how that works, but okay, hold on. 1 second. It's mainly there to make the mixture homogeneous. I know for a fact that the conditioner that I was using in Barcelona was turning my hair into a frizzy mess. Now, if you're telling me that there was another ingredient that was doing it, and the purpose of that ingredient was to fuck up my hair, then I will believe you, because I'm not in any way an expert on this. Good alcohols versus bad alcohols. God damn it, why does it have to be complicated? The so-called bad alcohols. Ethyl alcohol. Cetyl alcohol. Okay, wait, which one is in my conditioner then? Okay, I'm looking up cetyl alcohol and... Okay, hold on, wait. 1 second. What was the company that I did with? Hold on. Conditioner. It was like very basic stuff. Wait, I'm just looking up like conditioner. Okay? So so cetyl is fine, ethyl is bad, right? Is that fine? Can we go with that? Yes? Okay, that's cool, that's cool. Okay, hold on. Aussie Moist, Miracle Moist Conditioner. Moist. Label info. Sterile alcohol. Well, which one is that? Okay, that's one of the good ones. Okay. Sterile alcohol and cetyl alcohol. So this has the good ones. Then, okay, I haven't tried this one. What was the kind that I had? I need to find it now. I need to find it. Because if it wasn't... It had... Okay, does anyone know the brand? It's got like a green... It's got like a pretty green kind of like ovular tube shape to it. It's like dark green. It's like very cheap. It's super like basic. It's not Irish Spring. Is it Garnier? No, it's not that. It's darker green. It's darker green than that. It had a pretty cover. Is this something specific to Spain? No. It's like totally easy. Like you could get it anywhere. Super basic, cheap. I'm trying to see. Is it Suave? I don't think it was Suave. Fuck, this is going to bother me because now I really want to know whether or not it had the right kind. Sounds like tea tree. I don't think it was tea tree. Wait, is it an olive oil one? I think it might be. I think it might have had like olive oil or argan oil. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. Fuck, man. No, not Irish Spring. Garnier Fructis. I already said not Garnier. Argan oil of Morocco. No. Wait, yes. Wait. Yes. Herbal Essences Argan Oil Conditioner. Yeah. It was this one, but it was like a green one. So it was Herbal Essences. Herbal Essences Conditioner. Like, really cheap, available everywhere. Herbal Essences Omega Lol. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the water that messed your hair up in Spain. Spain is harder water than Washington State. Fuck, I wonder if it was that too. Okay, hold on. Well, let me see. Okay, I'm not looking at the right kind, but I'm looking at their argan oil one. Okay, so what's in this one? Label info. Sterile alcohol. Cetyl alcohol. Benzyl alcohol. Man, what's with all the damn alcohols? Oh, benzyl is one of the bad ones. It is one of the bad ones. I feel like I'm taking a complicated subject and I'm boiling it down into okay, I'm gonna try to reel this in a little bit. I think that on a fundamental level, I'm correct in that a bunch of these products are at best ineffective and at worst actively make the thing they're trying to fix worse. I think that the specific chemistry of the subject, it probably eludes me, like, substantially. That being said, I feel like, and I really mean this, in my personal opinion, it's probably the best to adopt a less is more attitude, right? You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like a lot of these things fucking suck, and it can be almost impossible to know what you're fixing if you have like 7 products that all have like a bunch of different effects. You lose a bunch of money and time, and you don't actually know what's happening. I haven't used a conditioner since I got back from Barcelona because I've been like red pilled, you know? I'm like nervous about them now, you know? You got a condition, man? Well, I'm just shampooing every other day. I have some nice conditioner from Spain. Dude, I got like fucking marked. I wanted to get some replacement conditioner, and I went in this like beauty shop / pharmacy, which was clearly like they were trying to push some specific brands. And I went in there, and I thought it was going to be like a normal pharmacy in America where it's just a store, you know, like a drugstore. But instead, I went in there, and there was a guy in a fucking lab coat. He was like, you know, like it's Spanishly, hello, English American. What do you need today? Oh, your hair looks good. You need like fully like, hello foreigner. Do you have money for me today? Yeah, I got clocked, but I got this. Hold on. I got this Wonder Cream because I really wanted another conditioner, and this one ended up being pretty good, if a little bit overpriced, I guess. The one product I truly swear by hair-wise is Oribe's Hair Alchemy Heat Resistant Serum. It's crazy expensive, but unironically it's helped my hair stay healthy despite going full golden blonde. Huh, okay. I'll look it up, or I'll try to remember to look it up, or maybe you could remind me at some point because I have a bad memory. I saw a ton of videos of small children using chemical peels for their faces. Ooh, guys, don't use chemical peels unless you have a really good reason to, man. God damn, dude. A lot of people do like crazy bad shit to their... Just because it burns your skin does not mean it's making you better, you know? Tratamiento concentrado que incrementa la fuerza y la salud del cabello. Gracias a la acción de la proteína vegetal multifuncional, incrementa la fuerza del cabello nutriéndolo de aminoácidos esenciales y siendo su estructura. You getting this? You getting any of this? That was pretty good. Thank you. Cabello is horse? Wait, does it literally say healthy as a horse? Oh, that's funny. They knew. They clocked my ass. They clocked my ass. That's funny. I noticed they don't mention the healthy as a horse thing in the English translation right here. Okay, anyway. It's time for the alcohol test, okay? All right. Aqua, ceteryl alcohol, fuck, this is like, these are like the Catalan words for all of their different ingredients, which is like harder to pronounce even than the regular English ones. Ceteryl alcohol, hydrogenated ethyl osmosis. Okay, they have ceteryl alcohol, which is good. Yay! Hydrolyzed vegetable protein, hydrogenated olive oil, glycerine, alanine, serine, proline. Why so many enes? And they have cetyl alcohol. Yay! Isopropyl alcohol. No. Benzyl alcohol. No. Okay, so we have 2 goods and 2 bads. Maybe they cancel out? Maybe. I've tried it. It's good. I usually use it out of the shower, though. What are we doing? Don't worry about it. You wouldn't get it. All right, hold on. Let me piss and then we'll do politics. Good for you. Please move the fuck on. Oh, and since some of you said you wanted to see it, here it is. I washed it and everything. It's the goddamn shirt that the guy from The Bear wears. It feels really good. I just don't think it would look good at all, like, sitting down on stream. No seams? Nope. It's fucking tube knitted. No seams. Try it. But it's not going to look exceptional at all. None of the qualities would really show. Try it? Okay, one sec. One sec. I couldn't believe that a local store had it in stock in my size. There you go. See? It's got like a nice, like, pull around. It feels really good, but I just don't think that it's gonna come across looking very interesting over a camera while I'm sitting down, you know? Looks nice, dude. Thank you. Look at the gussets on the underarm. So whenever I raise my arms like that, they just settle back down. It's very nice. The bottle said hair cabello, not horse caballo. Isn't it delightful though that those two words are so close together? Isn't that nice? Vosh and chat, if you want to check the quality of hair care products, try isitcg.com. Sure. I would happily take like outside insight on that particular subject. I'm no expert on it at all. Genuinely, that shirt looks gorgeous on you. Okay, all right, I appreciate it. You know, it's here, as long as I'm... I got this too, and people were relentlessly making fun of me for it on Twitter and also my friend groups and my family. But I saw this really yellow shirt. And it spoke to me. It spoke to, I don't know, it spoke to me. I'm not defending. Did I say shirt? I'm really tired, man. I never get any sleep. Yeah, it spoke to me. I don't know. Needs to get a propeller on top. You know, everyone's making fun of my... I feel like this is like a nice summer, you know, a white tee and like a lime shirt over it. Like a white tank top lime shirt, you know? I don't know. I feel... not with that shirt. Not with a lot of shirts. What is there to make fun of? Trust me, there's plenty to make fun of. The hat's a bit silly. I agree. I agree. I just like that it fits my head a little bit. It looks very corny, but in a good way. Yeah. It's a half cap, so it's meant to only like be on the very top of the head. It has personality for sure. Parents gritting their teeth, telling their kid that the way they spent their allowance at the mall isn't, it wasn't a waste. Mom, Dad, do you like it? Looking like an Earthbound character? I'll take it. I'll take it. Ironic dad fit with some white New Balance sneakers. That would actually go pretty hard. Why is the AC off? You look like just avoid wearing anything else juvenile. Well, I thought you would... I thought you'd do it like this, you know? See, because I think now maybe you make this a tank top and not a shirt. Now I think you kind of have it a little bit where now it's like a pop a little bit, like a bit of an accent thing, and you have kind of like a, like, you know, not the shorts. This look? I think that's funny. All right. All right. It's my first hat in like a decade. Let me have fun. Okay. That's enough. That's enough. Close that, close that. Close that. Ugh. No kidding, Safa Kemal. Guys, as always, life is suffering. Following the Supreme Court ruling that Donald Trump has total presidential immunity for or total criminal immunity for presidential acts, the Donald Trump legal team has challenged their guilty conviction in the hush money case with Stormy Daniels in New York, even though that happened before he was president. So I mean, not so he, as a consequence of this, to wait out the challenge to the decision, they have agreed to a sentencing delay. He was going to be sentenced on, I think, the 11th of this month, and now they've pushed it back to September, I think. So retroactive exoneration, here we come. I mean, yeah, he wasn't even the president back then. September 18th? In a response on Tuesday, prosecutors with Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office said Trump's argument was, quote, without merit, but they had no problem giving Trump the opportunity to make his case. They asked to have until July 24th to reply to the defense's full motion. I think some of the hush money payments happened while he was president. What was the timeline on that? Well, I look forward to this getting completely blown out. The reimbursement request at the White House. Okay, yeah, I mean, substantially the crime was committed. Yeah. Official acts, right? Ardent J.K. Rowling defender and gender-critical journalist for The Telegraph is outed as a neo-Nazi. Oh, I saw this! Nina Power and Daniel Miller declared bankruptcy as a result of legal troubles they faced, I believe, and in the court cases against them outed a ton of information, including chat logs where they discussed being open Nazis. Is that in this thread? Yeah, here we go. Oh, by the way, if I remember correctly, Nina Powers, or maybe the other one, both of them, they were the ones who were running that, or working for that website, that so-called journalistic website that we tore into Slavoj Žižek for being on. Do you remember that? What was the name of it? They were, there was that website where Slavoj Žižek posted the super transphobic article, and we looked at all the contributors and people who were a part of it, and they were like ultra far right. Compact Magazine, that's right. Anyway, now we get to see the wonderful character of these individuals in some Telegram messages of theirs that have been leaked now on account of these court documents. Viking, tell you later. I think at some point we need to read Mein Kampf properly. Lol, seriously, I want to understand it. I keep a copy in my study, of course. Well, I have one too. I think maybe it is necessary. What if we find ourselves agreeing with it? Oh my god, he's right about everything. Right. Pretty straightforward. I wonder if the social disapproval for racism is a psyop to stop people realizing that there are alien and fairy races. Also that black and white were alien races and very different. Yes, you should not reveal this to most people. That's definitely true. They can't handle it. Nazi esotericism, guys. Most of these people are crackpots. Oh my god, I love Hitler, ooh. It is kind of funny, isn't it? It reminds me a little bit of Red Scare, where you have this weird, incoherent blend of far-right politics and this, like, tweedly millennial, like, pseudo esoteric horoscope kind of, like, bullshit aesthetic, you know? You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm definitely a Nazi now, lol. Nice. Okay, we set up our own. No fatties, no women, no homo, of course. And definitely no trannies unless it's to admit they're just sick motherfuckers. This is from a woman, by the way. They're always pick-me's. Thinking of fleeing to Argentina like Mengele. Don't run, I think there will be an orgy of blood soon. Very hard to remove all these people. Yeah, so on and so forth. Also running secret Groiper accounts. I mean, this all kind of tracks, I guess. Day of the Rope shit. Yeah, it's just funny, again, like, there you go. There's, like, the kind of company that J.K. Rowling keep, I suppose. By the way, she was writing for Telegraph. In case you were ever wondering, like, at what levels is there, like, collaboration and integration? You have Nazis integrated basically into every, like, mainstream conservative publication at this point. What is this? Oh yeah, this is the Ubermensch woman, by the way, talking about the orgy of blood, which again, like, immediately you can tell on every level, probably done a lot of coke, probably gotten railed at a lot of, like, in a lot of, like, all male friend circles, big, like, pick me kind of girl. I know women like this. You can't come at me for being misogynist. I know. These people are high on male attention. They think they're smart because they, like, they have an understanding of Hegel that's, you know, comparable to the, you know, Caesar's Legion-esque dialogue. I mean, very superficial understanding of philosophy. They enter into and rebroadcast an ideology that hates them and by the way, like, show any Groiper a woman who looks like this, they would say she's like an uggo fatty, whatever the fuck, because they hate women. But she's different. She's special because she's in the crowd, same as the Red Scare types, you know? I guess at least they're, I don't know if they're hot really anymore. I can't really say that anymore, I guess. It's all pick-me shit, you know? Yeah, one of the good ones. People who think of themselves as spiritual men in a lot of ways, I think. You kind of got that with Lauren Southern as well, where you have women who propagate an ideology of female submissiveness, but think they're different, you know? Lauren Southern spent years, as an ideologue, propagating the belief that women want to be, like, submissive, do-nothing partners of men. Then she tried doing it, got abused, and left. And it's like, okay, hypocrisy on multiple levels here. For one, do you realize the problem with the ideology you propagated? And for two, didn't you enjoy being the one in power, Lauren Southern? Don't you, Nina Powers? Don't you like being in a system where you have the ability to pretend that you're better than other women and rise, you know, to your own station? Because they think spiritually they're not like women. They think they have, like, the soul of a man. Yeah, Margaret Thatcher did the same thing. Phenomenal stuff, really. So long-ass thread. I'm here for him, yeah. Transitioning could have saved him. Nina Power used her secret Gorsid6 account to engage extensively with other far-right associates, including London neo-Nazi Jack Stocco, aka Parallax Optics, who inspired the 2021 Denver mass shooter. Here they promote the far-right World War Trans conspiracy theory. These people are fucking crazy, dude. I want it to be known, by the way, that unlike the far-right schizo freaks who we constantly see getting outed, I don't have a secret, like, mega Stalinist account or whatever the fuck. They all, these people always have, like, secret accounts where they roleplay as, like little 4chan grapers saying random shit. They always, it's their whole world. They don't have an outside world, you know? They don't have, like, normal hobbies or normal personalities. They're not, like, normal people. They're not normal. They're obsessed with this shit to an extent. Like has been said many times before, you know, if you want to hear more about trans people, unfollow your trans oomfies and follow far-right accounts. They're obsessed. I genuinely don't understand what kind of, like, mental state you would have to be in as a large, powerful public figure who writes for The Telegraph to have a tiny, private, alt, anonymous account where you debate pseudo-philosophy with other neo-Nazis in a completely private forum, saying nothing and meaning nothing. It feels like they want to construct a tiny echo chamber where they can remind themselves that their delusional freak behavior is somewhat normal. They're always talking about trans people, man. I feel like I can read this lady's personality almost entirely from the photo that she chooses to represent herself. Can't you? You can see it, right? These people are almost always open books. It's like a crude reimagining of the way leftist artists make fun of fascists by the way they depict themselves, you know? Like this desperate attempt to look powerful when in reality it looks like you're doing the DreamWorks face at a like you know, at a photographer in a mall. The way they attempt to perform superiority when actual Ubermenschen probably wouldn't be like making Groyper alt accounts or going, Lamau, I also have Mein Kampf. Lamau, like some kind of, I don't know, Tradcath Valley girl. It's crazy. DreamWorks face, they're always performing. It's always a performance with them. They can't understand authenticity because they don't recognize it in themselves or in other people. To them, the entire world is a performance. They project by accusing trans people of doing what they do as part of some broader strategy to engage in degeneracy or invalidate women or whatever the fuck else, because they can't imagine having an authentic experience because they don't have them. Everything they do is like a giggling little pantomime. They don't have real friends because having real friends would require lowering your boundaries enough to acknowledge a sort of shared camaraderie. It's such a sad way to live. Yeah, but you see it literally all the time in the far right, don't you? How many if you look at a far left account on Twitter, you see a person, now don't get me wrong, a lot of far left accounts on Twitter are psychopaths, but they act like normal people in most cases. The way they talk and reply to others, it really just looks like they're a very left-leaning person who has a Twitter account. They engage with others, they can be friendly, they have a wide variety of like emotional responses. They act like normal people. If you look at a far right account on Twitter, they act like a giggling AI psychopath for that, like trained on pole imagery, you know? They just talk, they don't engage with other people normally. Everything looks like it's a pantomime or like theater. They're supposed to behave in certain ways with others. It reminds me a lot of the Folding Ideas video on the way crypto grifters and NFT people talk to each other, where if you look at NFT accounts interact with one another on Twitter, or at least maybe like a few years ago, because nowadays they've fallen off quite a bit, but if you looked at the way they interacted with each other a few years ago, they did not act like people, man. There was like a cult-like doctrine of acceptable modes of engagement, mantras to repeat, you know, phrases, thought-terminating cliches. They didn't interact with each other like normal normal people. It was really, 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 really weird. And the far right acts that way as well because they can't understand authenticity. They don't act like normal people. And it's just kind of weird to see they don't act like it in private as well. Oh dear Lord, this Canadian PhD is hyper super woke. My master's major research paper entitled Performance Art and the Rituals of Everyday Life in East Vancouver, etc., etc. The PhD is written as a confessional. The day I had spent hours sitting at my desk wondering whether I even knew what auto theory was and why it was such interest to me, ... How long does that continue? It'll take at least 5 minutes to read. Oh no, the dissertation is a sustained reflection on the auto-theoretical. Maybe this is me projecting. I'm deferring to the crowd. Does this sound to you like the way a normal person talks, or does this sound to you like somebody pantomiming like the facade of an intellectual above it all? Oh, I'm not like one of those jittering, crazy alt-right torch-wielding fuckers at Charlottesville, you know, I'm an intellectual, you know, I'm like a post-Hegelian, yeah, LARPing philosopher. It's highly inauthentic. I genuinely think that it's all a performance. I can't prove that objectively. I can't read her mind. It just comes across that way to me. Very little internal world, NPC behavior. It's fake intellectualism. Again, this just reminds me so heavily of Red Scare. The people who feel a need to frame their like highly irrational beliefs through the pantomime of rationality, they usually act like that, I think. Oh yeah, Stefan Molyneux liked to do this stuff, but he was like actually retarded. Superiority complex with skewed understanding solely based on Telegram fascist Heidegger memes. Exactly, exactly. I bet it would make that woman seethe for her to be referred to as J.K. Rowling supporter and nothing else. Universities are filled with people like this, TBH. Universities are filled with people who are very performative in the way they demonstrate their intelligence. I don't deny that at all. But I think there's a huge difference between people who act that way because they want to be perceived as smart and people who act that way because they're desperately trying to give like an intellectual face to something that is fundamentally a hate movement, you know? There's a huge difference between a person who is pretentious and person who affects pretentiousness as a way of, laminating neo-Nazism. Also, having been to university, man, you can like talk to a pretentious person normally. You know, like they have their moments, but pretentiousness, I think, is just a component of the human experience. There's a pretty big difference between a person being a holistic freak about it and a person being like, you know, maybe a bit full of themselves, but you can have a convo with them if you want to. It's possible. And yeah, I saw this. At the rate things are going, the Labour Party is going to be to the right of the Tories within 6 months. So, you know, vote accordingly, I guess. I don't fucking know. Fuck these guys. I look forward to the Reform Party winning the next election. Starmer is our Macron? No, Starmer is significantly worse than Macron. You know that, right? Like, Macron is a neoliberal who is sort of like laid the foundation for the rise of the far right in France. Starmer is actively like racing over to the right on cultural issues. You know? It's crazy. He might be worse than a Tory in the long run. Safa Kimmel. I guess we'll see. At the front page of Reuters today, there were 3 anti-OnlyFans articles. Anti-OnlyFans articles aren't like crazy uncommon or anything, but I thought it was pretty noteworthy that Reuters would dump 3 of them in a row like that. Apparently there was an expose. I'm curious. Editor's note, story contains accounts of child abuse. Not surprising. OnlyFans is not a good company. It's top content creator. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, man, we're doing like a whole thing here. OnlyFans exposed. Okay, we're doing like a whole expose here. Not even like an article. You know? Okay, here's an article. Scary title card. Yeah, we love our scary title cards, don't we, folks? Jesus. Yeah, we saw Caloran. I'm already suspicious of the amount of web resources they put into this. From the get-go, whenever we have like a scary thing like this at the beginning, it automatically makes me doubt the content of the article just because I hate sensationalized news like that. But, you know, it's OnlyFans. It's not like it's a good company. When a 16-year-old girl from Florida went missing in April 2023, her parents found her, searched her phone desperate for clues. What they found shocked them. For months, she sent nude photos and videos of herself to a man they now feared had abducted her. The next day, sheriff's deputies found the girl partially naked in a rented house. The man, according to police records, an investigation revealed he had posted dozens of sexual images and videos of the girl on OnlyFans. He was charged with human trafficking and other offenses. He's pleaded not guilty. That's going to be a tough one for you to fight in court, man. OnlyFans makes reassuring promises to the public. It's strictly adults only, with sophisticated measures to monitor every user, vet all content, and swiftly remove and report any child sexual abuse material. We know the age and identity of everyone on our platform, said CEO Kelly Blair in a speech last year. No children allowed, no one under 18 on the platform. I could be wrong, by the way. But OnlyFans actually does have a pretty, like, aggressive system for this. Like, if you make an OnlyFans video, you need to be registered, and it does, like, facial recognition or body recognition if you're there to count for you. And if there's another... Like, I saw a person tweet recently that a video of theirs got flagged because they had, like, a Danny DeVito cardboard cutout in the background, and that got registered as an unauthorized person in your video, and it like, nuked the video. They make you scan your driver's license. Yeah. Like, I think OnlyFans actually has a pretty stringent... This is a really shitty opening argument. The idea that it is literally possible to upload stuff like this to OnlyFans, that's the case for every site that allows you to upload anything. You could make the same argument against Imgur, or YouTube, or Twitter, or... Like, you could do that on Twitter. Twitter doesn't have a system where it automatically, like... Where it requires you to register your driver's license, before you post anything. Like Reddit, yeah, that's all sites that can upload things, you know? Not to say OnlyFans is a good company, it's definitely not. I just don't know, like, what you could ever do about that in any system that allows you to upload anything. People post CP to Twitter, then get banned for it, then Elon Musk reinstates them, you know? Many such cases. Reuters documented 30 complaints in U.S. police and court records that child sexual abuse material appeared on the site between December 2019 and June 2024. The case files examined by the news org cited more than 200 explicit videos and images of kids, including some adults having oral sex with toddlers. In one case, multiple videos of a minor remained on OnlyFans for more than a year, according to a child exploitation investigator who found them while assisting Reuters in its reporting and alerted authorities in June. The impact on some victims was devastating. Yeah, no shit. There has to be accountability for these platforms. Okay, so here's where I ask. I agree there should be accountability for these platforms. The thing that I'm interested in, because I never see this follow-up, is what do you suggest? Because it seems like the thing that you're suggesting would make it impossible for any website to have image hosting as a concept, right? Which is like all websites. You know what I mean? So I'm not at all opposed to things being improved on this front, you know? Pornhub took a big step in improving things on this front by deleting a massive amount of site content from any account that wasn't authorized, meaning that you needed to have like your own ID attached to an account in order to be able to post anything there. You can no longer have an unverified account. The thing that makes that good is that theoretically, as long as the account and the ID is legitimate, is that if you ever post anything unlawful, not only can it be like tracked to your account, it can be tracked to your personhood, you know? Like on Pornhub, your fucking ID is attached to you, man. You do anything untoward in those videos and the feds can yeah, you're open to prosecution now. That's a pretty stringent protection. It doesn't fix the problem entirely, but I'm curious what like institutional suggestion could be put forward here, you know? I know that like a lot of what people are going to suggest here is we'll just ban porn entirely because honestly, that's where a lot of this stuff tends to lead. But keep in mind that one of the biggest subreddits on Reddit was r/jailbait. It was massive, and it was entirely dedicated to posting technically safe for work pictures and videos of under 18s. And there was a massive ring of people trading around actual CP in the DMs. So in that case, in order to prevent that, you would not only need to remove all pornography from like posted sites, you would have to get rid of the DMing systems because otherwise people could send links or images through it. Spez was a mod. Yes, Spez favorite. So it's like, I don't know what the institutional solution to this is. Of the 30 cases reviewed by Reuters, more than half resulted in an arrest and at least 3 in criminal convictions. That's better than it has been before. More than half resulting in an arrest. I mean, that's definitely better than, like, man, you read horror stories about like Facebook and all the shit that the like child protection teams find there. I doubt half of those cases lead to an arrest. Most, including that of the missing Florida girl, involved adults accused of preying on minors to create explicit content sold on the site. In other cases, minors got past OnlyFans vetting to purvey their own sexually explicit material, police records show. In the case involving toddlers, a man used the site to send another man more than 100 files, including or featuring the abuse of children of all ages. Yeah, you're going to jail, man. You're going to the hole. You're not going to like it, but AI can be used to detect CP and delete ban it? No, it can't, dude. No, it can't. I'm really sorry, but no, it can't. There's literally no way any automatic system could automatically flag the difference between I guess like 17-year-old or like a petite 19. You're literally, it's not possible. It has to be like a social system, you know, it has to be like a vetted social system. Yeah, also, I don't know what you'd have to do to train that AI, but yeah, a comprehensive database. The 30 cases almost certainly understate the presence of child sexual abuse material on OnlyFans. Reuters used public records laws to obtain documents mentioning OnlyFans for more than 250 of the largest U.S. law enforcement agencies. Okay, I feel like I need to skip through some of this because a lot of this is information that's kind of obvious to us, people who are even remotely online. We fully accept the premise that OnlyFans, along with basically any site that can contain image hosting services, is going to have a problem with CP. The question that I'm interested in is, has OnlyFans failed in due diligence in a way that is worse than other websites? Are they doing better than other websites? And what can be done to improve in the future? That, to me, is the interesting question, because it doesn't take a genius to look at this and go, have you noticed that there are pedophiles online? Yeah, I think people have noticed that. It's been like it's like a thing people have noticed, yeah. But what do you do about it, right? How do you design a system to mitigate the effect of the harm? OnlyFans didn't respond to most of Reuters' questions about the cases in this story, including how CSA material was able to evade its monitoring, probably because they couldn't answer that, and whether it has kept its revenue from accounts involving minors. None of the cases involved criminal charges against the website or its parent company. Reuters found no evidence that OnlyFans has been sued or held criminally liable for child sexual abuse content, according to a search of U.S. and international legal databases. Yeah. Okay. None of these people care about the actual questions at hand. Yeah, like, again, I'm going to be real straightforward about this. OnlyFans provides a lot of sex workers the ability to make a living where if it was closed down, they would be back on the streets and much more subject to sexual violence. If you think that, like, the sort of propagation of women on OnlyFans is grim in our worsening economy, then I promise you, you will not enjoy them being streetwalkers anymore. So we need to be a little smarter about this. When this article says stuff like no cases involve criminal charges against the website or its parent company, yeah, obviously, like, that's been established case law for decades. Like, of course, yeah. Federal free speech protections have largely immunized social media platforms from liability for abusive content posted by their users, but Congress is seeking to toughen federal laws to hold the platforms accountable. But what could you do to improve it? It would be good to improve it. So what could you do to improve it? It looks like here we have a single anecdote about the guy who abused that younger girl. I agree, this is all very bad, but none of this is OnlyFans specific. The phenomena of older man abuses younger girl and makes pornography off of her is, like, not at all specific to OnlyFans. It's like a real issue, but what solution? It's Craigslist killer shit. Yeah, well, Craigslist was a lot less safe than OnlyFans, like, by far, dude. I'm trying to see. So this article is just an anti-sex work thing. I want to be clear. Any pressure that makes the internet and the world at large a safer place for non-abusers and a less safe place for abusers is a good thing. I'm in favor of literally any systemic change that facilitates this, you know? I was in favor of Pornhub deleting a fuck ton of their unregistered content. I'm in favor of the more stringent protections for OnlyFans. It is worth noting right now that an example of a website that has far fewer protections than OnlyFans is Twitter. You can just post nudes on Twitter. No ID is necessary at all. You can just, as a minor, can just go on there and post nudes. And it's just weird to me to focus on OnlyFans when the norm for websites with image hosting that allow not safe for work content allows for that, which is a lot worse. You know? Which again makes me wonder what the, like, supposed solution is, right? Does this, I'm legitimately, like, looking for a section of this article that talks about what can be done. OnlyFans been hit before by accusations that it doesn't adequately protect children, but what would you like them to do? Control F solution. I don't think we're going to get it. Yeah, and Thana, it's worth noting, even if you could somehow magically ban all porn off the internet, and you avoided the problem of sex workers on OnlyFans then moving to less safe forms of sex work to make their living, that wouldn't change the fact that my understanding is, like, whenever you hear about, you know, X person gets busted with 16 trillion terabytes of whatever the fuck, they were, like, DMing other people. Because that's what was happening on Reddit with r/jailbait, you know? The content on r/jailbait was safe for work, ostensibly, you know, technically, of minors. And they were trading the CP and the DMs. So it's like, okay, so it's not even like the public image posting. It's literally any form of image hosting at all. And what are you going to do? Get rid of pornography in private DMs? How do you do that? Like, genuinely, how do you do that? That's crazy. That would be pretty difficult, especially considering you can just directly send files. How would you do that? Ban image sharing, maybe? Yeah, but you could never get rid of just, like, direct image transfers. That's always possible. Like, there's no way to prevent that without gutting the entire internet. Which, and the fact that no solution is provided seems to me like this is mostly a way of fear-mongering. Like, imagine if somebody who really fucking hated Twitter went after Twitter by making a big article on how it was possible for minors to post nude images there. Don't get me wrong, I fucking hate Twitter, but that's not really a fair criticism to make of Twitter when the same is the case for any website that has image hosting, right? Like, I don't think that's a Twitter-specific issue necessarily. I think the fact that Elon Musk keeps unbanning pedophiles is, but I like, that's not really like a Twitter-specific thing, you know? Okay, wait, hold on. Are we talking pragmatics here? Online CSAM can be hard to investigate and prosecute. No, wait. I thought we were going to talk about how to do it. Is that it? They never talk about it? Not even once? How can you pretend to care about this stuff unless you're going to, like, talk about the potential solutions, man? Oh, for sure, Thana. 100%. Didn't Etsy ban literally everything not safe for work just a few days ago? Was it Etsy or was it a different? What did Etsy have that was not safe for work? Like sex toys, I think? Yeah, Etsy to ban sex toys and other mature products in new policy. Why? Because credit card providers don't like working with websites that have not safe work materials on it. This has been happening all over the internet. PayPal, Patreon, Tumblr, now Etsy. OnlyFans tried to get rid of all not safe for work content a while ago, which was ill-advised, and they went back on it, but keep in mind, none of this has anything to do with protecting children. Stuff like this is done because credit card companies work basically globally, and they're trying to avoid, like, regulations and laws that crack down on stuff involving sex work, both within and without America. It has nothing to do with, like, protecting anyone. It's just credit card companies trying to, like, maintain their connections as broadly as possible without being subject to those regulations. The crazy thing to me is that a lot of the people who are hardest on this subject are also, like, super hard into cryptocurrency, when cryptocurrency basically, like, functionally existed to buy drugs and child porn. You know? Oh, I mean, I hate Etsy, Annie. Don't get me wrong. Like, in that respect, sure. But it's all being done for broader capital interests. So this entire article doesn't mention anything, man. What about this one? Behind the OnlyFans porn boom, allegations of rape, abuse, and betrayal. Opening with a scary anecdote. These are separate articles that are both part of the same Reuters special investigation. I think this is just a repeat of a lot of the... What the fuck? Stop. What did that say? He exposed my entire body for $5. I can't even buy a full meal at McDonald's for $5. Does journalism exist anymore? Are we fucking kidding me with this? This is a complicated and serious topic. You're really hitting me with like the most like why not have like a sting, like a musical sting appear when we go over it, huh? I didn't have my earbuds in. Did they play like a dun dun when we did over that? Come on. All you do is denigrate the seriousness of the topic with shit like this. Yeah, how do we get people emotionally involved, you know? Well, what if we like, you know, zhuzhed up this investigative report the same way high schoolers would the like school yearbook? Come on. Look at this. Jesus Christ. And again, I'm speaking from a position of nothing but sympathy for everyone who's been victimized by any kind of fucking abuser through OnlyFans or whatever other means. But if you're not proposing a solution, then what are you suggesting? Yeah, Yandrius, I feel like the response people want is literally just like, yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, that is fucked up. So what do we do about it, man? You're going to give me another giant full page thingy as I scroll through it? Yep, there we go. And no examples of what can be done to improve things. People freaked out about Discord a while back. Well, the thing that I particularly dislike about Discord is the fact that it's a closed system, unlike forums. But, you know, even then, forums had, like, DMs or PMs or whatever. Millions of paywalls impede scrutiny of OnlyFans. Yeah, that's a part of it. Reporting is important in and of itself. We and politicians should be the one to propose solutions. Okay, I largely agree with you. But right now, the only through line, the only discourse that's being had in mainstream politics on this subject is the desire to just ban pornography, which would literally not fix this. So it comes across as kind of irresponsible to me to have highly sensationalist articles that pull together anecdotes on a site that millions use. You could do this for any website, man, but they're focusing on OnlyFans because that's the prostitution website. You know, this happens everywhere. Discord, Twitter, Facebook is literally fucking riddled with child sexual abuse material in private groups and DMs. There was a whole expose on it where there were people whose job it was to comb through it and send reports to the FBI who were on fucking suicide watch over it. Yeah, Facebook facilitates like an ungodly amount of bad stuff, but for some reason, it's specifically about the website that sex workers make their living off of. And all of it is being done in like an incredibly, I guess, unhelpful framework where they're chaining together anecdotes. This isn't real, like, good journalism. This is incredibly manipulative framing. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, DM. Scroll to the bottom. Why do you keep telling me to do that, Benjamin? Do we know if there are meaningfully more sex workers because of OnlyFans? There definitely are. Yeah. The only two jobs these days are live streamer and like OnlyFans worker, you know? People got to make their living. Tough to see media take the side of censorship. I want the media, whatever the fuck, to censor the abusive material. But like what I want is like, well, how do they do that then? Like a more robust reporting system? I would just love it if there was some kind of argument. We can make it so the only files that are allowed to be uploaded are those that have digital signatures. But isn't that subject to the same issue as having to like link it to your driver's license where you could get a fake ID? Like you could provide digital signatures that don't meaningfully implicate you. Yeah, the methodology for this report is not the same as their proposed solutions, Benjamin. My uncle's best friend is a prosecutor against CSA crimes, and she would 100% agree with you in this issue. I think they mean the image basically has to be vetted before it's publicly viewable. Okay, that would slow down the site considerably, but it's possible. I don't know how well that could work, though. What about, like, people who are underage but not you know, like super young or whatever. How, like, you know, would that vetting system effectively identify and weed out people who are 17 or 16 with fake IDs? This is what I mean. Like, it's an almost unsolvable problem. My argument has always been one of the most effective things we could do. This is the thing that Ethan Klein, like, attacked me for saying, because he does weird, like, pedo defense stuff when it's convenient, I guess, is one of the big issues here is the broader fetishization of youth in young girls. And that if we got rid of that or addressed that or kind of like push back against that, it would massively cut down on the abuse in this market from a ground level, you know? Sorry. Another classic. Why is it legal to purchase sex acts online but illegal to pay for it in person? That's Canada, at least. It's totally inconsistent. You can pay a person for sex acts online. You can pay a person for like to make pornography, but not for prostitution. So you can literally, like, if you pay a prostitute to fuck you, that's illegal. But if you give a prostitute money for being in the porn film that you're recording of you fucking them, that's legal. It's completely, yeah. Will Dems ever take a stand on prostitution? There's no, like, stand that you can meaningfully take here. The only thing is that, like, unless there's a narrative to push against this, because this, do we all agree this is weird fear-mongering? Again, the problems they're describing are real, but the fact that they apply ubiquitously to the entire internet, and the fact that they aren't providing solutions, and the fact that they're engaging in the exact kind of, like, highly narrative, like, this is Reuters Investigates, man. These motherfuckers have money to spend. They got together, like, anecdotal experiences and evidence of abuse happening. Could you not have done that from any website? Why OnlyFans? What about this? What makes this an OnlyFans thing? You know, that's what I mean. It just doesn't seem like it's solution oriented. It's not good. It's not good. OnlyFans is an easy target because they're exclusively adult content. Places like Twitter/Reddit hide behind a veneer of social media sites. As long as DMs as a concept exist, it's always going to be a problem that can't be meaningfully regulated, you know? Anyone can do any kind of trade for anything through DMs. Like, it's not possible to regulate that top down in the way that some people imply that it can be. You need a stronger approach. I think that a large part of this approach is well, first of all, I'm just gonna, like, throw the ball across the court here. Sex negativity contributes to these problems because young women who are abused are often terrified of being prosecuted by the police or ostracized socially by their family and friends if they've engaged in any untoward behavior, you know? Like, oftentimes, you know, these girls get roped into, like, pimping schemes or whatever, and they feel like they can't tell their parents because they're terrified of them finding out. All of this is, like, a direct consequence of the conservative mindset, and they don't care about that. They don't care about that fact because in reality, they don't want to protect victims, you know? They want to punish sex workers. Much in the same way that basically every effort that Republicans have ever made to so-called, like, protect the victims, like the grooming stuff, like the grooming gangs in the UK or whatever, it's almost always an attack against migrants, an attack against immigrants, an attack against queer people. They're not against grooming because they think they want, like, rainbow flags taken down from school walls or whatever. They're just anti-gay, you know? They don't give a shit about grooming. That literally the entire right wing fell to defend Dr. Disrespect when it turns out he was like sexually DMing a little girl and was going to meet up with her at a TwitchCon. His so-called Protect the Kids friend Nick Merckx was defending him. I saw multiple screenshots of people DMing libs of TikTok asking why she hasn't done an expose on Dr. Disrespect, the groomer, and she just blocked them. They don't give a shit, man. They're fine with kids getting fucked. They do not care at all. It's only ever a culture war talking point to them. Who would have thunk it? Yeah. Nice. Tractor Supply goes anti-woke. For more than 85 years, Tractor Supply has been focused on one thing, serving life out here. We're invested in the future of rural America, okay. Going forward, we will no longer submit data to the Human Rights Campaign. Okay. What? Refocus team member engagement, further focus on rural American priorities. Eliminate DEI roles and retire our current DEI goals while still ensuring a respectful environment. Withdraw our carbon emission goals and focus on our land and water conservation efforts. Nice. From Tractor Supply Co. Isn't right to repair one of the biggest issue to tractor owners? I think that's mostly a John Deere thing in the legal front, at least. This doesn't really mean anything. They're just trying to drum up support by signaling that they're anti-woke, you know. Rural America is Hitlerite in nature, so they're like, yeah, man, I'm glad my money isn't going to black people. Literally the anti-woke Lemonade House comic. True! Yeah, I saw Nikki Bugs. All right, what the fuck is this? Ben Gvir on reports of detention camps where soldiers have tortured and raped Palestinians. Everything published about the abominable conditions was true. I have already proposed a much simpler solution of enacting the death penalty. Is this real? Wait, it's quote tweeting Ben Gvir. Words? Lefty meme? The time has come to dismantle the spins and answer the flood of briefings. Everything published about the abominable conditions of these vile murderers in prison was true. They ruled the prisons without question, did whatever they pleased. Okay, so he's saying that the conditions that they were subjected to was bad, and that's because the Palestinians were totally in control of the prisons or something. Yeah, I feel like the translation might be a bit inaccurate here. I don't know if I can really rule on this. Words? It is very possible that even after the addition of the new prisons is completed, the many terrorists will still be overcrowded in prison. I have proposed a much simpler solution of enacting the death penalty for terrorists. Okay, that, I think, that seems to me to be translated correctly, which would solve the overcrowding issue. Legislation to which the Shin Bet is also vehemently opposed. But not until this legislation, with God's help, is passed, nothing will happen if the Nahava terrorists who burned a baby girl on October 7th will be crowded in prison cell where he died. Death camps? Death camps! This sounds kind of final solution-y. It's objectively final solution-y, yeah. Basically, most of the tweet was about how Israeli prisons were a summer camp and he's made them much harsher now. Yeah, so it's fully, yeah, like just death camps. Just Auschwitz-Birkenau stuff. Can't wait for this guy's best friend, Benjamin Netanyahu, to come over to the United States in a few weeks and lecture Congress on how Joe Biden is not sufficiently assisting him in his goal of executing the Palestinians. Germany once more finds itself on the side of death camps again. True! That's history for you, man. You know, the wheels of history have turned, have conspired to create a situation in which they are yet again on that side of history. It's actually wild the Nazis did their death camps mostly in quiet and didn't scream about it to the populace. Meanwhile, Israel's top officials just scream about wanting to do it to them. Yeah, genuinely. Like, the Nazis were extremely loud about the anti-Semitism and the rounding up Jews part, but for the most part, they tried to bury the evidence of the mass death thing. Meanwhile, Ben-Gvir is like, hey guys, listen up. I've got a great idea, okay? This overpopulation, we can fix it in a second. America's greatest ally. When we lose in when we lose on November 5th, just remember that a huge part of it will be because Biden decided that he had to be best friends with this guy. Yes, Benjamin. Israeli state attorney requests criminal investigation into Ben-Gvir. On what grounds? It is said prosecutors were looking at possibly charging Ben-Gvir for inciting violence against the residents of the Gaza Strip. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. The actual post-October 7th Gaza death toll's got to be insane at this point. Yeah, probably at least like 100,000, I would say. Shit's crazy, man. Not good. All right, I have to look. Biden, wait, not Biden. Jesus, I'm tired. Benjamin, why did you link this 50 times? What is TYT up to? What are they doing? What are they doing and why do I care?
Because a lot of Democrats are panicking, and I think what they saw on Thursday night, we've got a lot of questions, Stuart.
Did Joe Biden have a bad night, in my opinion? Yes, he absolutely did. Do we have concerns, and do we wish that Joe Biden did better yesterday?
Like that
yes.
tie,
Why?
hate that
because
suit.
we put people over politics, and we know what's at stake in this country, and we know that this would be devastating to the country and to the world if there is another Donald Trump president.
I am not part of the drama of this town that immediately demands because somebody had a bad night, we're in a crisis.
Oh, we're doomed.
This guy looks like Dan Olson a little bit. He's talking. This guy's talking like the fucking crestfallen knight.
We're in a crisis.
Oh, we're doomed. This is the best we got. The fact
arriving at Firelink Shrine and confronting a Biden staffer. Victory seems a foregone prospect now, doesn't it?
that they're pushing such old candidates forward and saying this is the best we have.
I hear you, brother. And wait till you hear some of the loudest voices urging Biden to stay in the presidential race despite his horrible debate performance last week. And Democrats, meaning the Democratic Party, are even weighing an early formal nomination of Biden in order to squash any efforts to swap him out with a different candidate.
Remember, at 9:30 tomorrow, we're apparently having an all-hands on deck staff meeting within the Democrats. The chief of not the chief of staff, the staff head. Didn't TYT basically say they would refuse to vote for Biden? Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Biden's winning, man. My interest in advocating for like the vote blue no matter who thing goes down quite a bit when I feel like the blue they want us to vote for is actively impeding us from voting for the other blue that would actually win. Like, if Biden ends up being the fucking nominee, like, yeah, you gotta go vote for him, but holy fuck, dude, they're killing all of us.
We're going to get to more on that in just a moment, and it is a spicy story to say the least. Hold on for that. But first, let's talk about the meeting that occurred over the weekend between Joe Biden and his family members. They were in Camp David, and they have decided to blame everyone else for Biden's failure while urging...
Gaslight getting the Vosh. Benjamin, you give me a video of Anna Kasparian shit-talking Biden after the debate performance, and you're not going to get a lot of disagreement from me. I'm sorry. I'm, like, pretty furious. It is only because of my Siddhartha-like self-control and discipline that I'm capable of not just, like, whipping myself into a frothing rage every time I hit go live on the ineptitude of the Democrats. But, like, they are killing us, you know that? They're driving the knife in and they're twisting it.
Biden to remain in the race. They argue that Biden was not prepared to pivot more to go on the attack. They're alleging that he was forced to spend more time defending his record rather than outlining his vision for the future. So in that regard, they're blaming the debate moderators. You've just been president for several years. I think you should expect to have to defend your record, but okay. And they also...
Yeah, the lefty, this is how Bernie can still win, versus the neoliberal, this is how Biden can still win. That's true, literally, that's true. Guys, okay? Guys, Biden can still win. We just have to beat every single poll showing Trump is massively ahead. We just have to calm the nerves of every single person in the party, both staff and elected officials. We just have to dissuade the 75% of Democrat voters who think that Joe Biden should be replaced with somebody else. You know, he can still win. He can still win.
Argue that he was overworked and not well rested. And these ridiculous talking points obviously reached the Democratic leadership in Congress. In fact, here's an example from James Clyburn.
Yes, it was a bad performance. I've been around these things. I've been a part of debate preparation before, and I know what when I see what I call preparation overload. And that's exactly what was going on the other night. I saw Joe Biden grabbing for words and phrases and even numbers that he was loaded up with. The next day, he gets to North Carolina.
I'm noticing libs admitting it was bad, but never describing how bad it was. Yeah, no, they can't acknowledge it. Like, bad is the first Obama debate against Romney, right? What happened with Joe Biden was like okay, after Obama's lackluster performance against Romney, there was not 75% of Democrat voters saying that Obama should drop out and make way for another person. Yeah, it was catastrophic. It wasn't like, oh, he had a bad night. It was like, holy shit, this guy cannot win. You know?
Freewheeling, and he captivated the audience.
I believe on Friday in North Carolina, he had a teleprompter.
Joe Biden has a history of stuttering. He did that as a child. All of us know.
Embarrassing.
How stutterers operate. I went to school with one. So when you have trouble getting out a word...
Another, like, octogenarian Democrat, by the way, lecturing us that what we saw didn't happen, you know? Ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. Joe Biden just stuttered. That's what happened up there. He was stuttering. That was the nature of what he was doing up there. It wasn't a complete inability to communicate. It was just stuttering, you know?
That is what comes from stuttering. But when he expressed opinions... he was on the money with the opinions. He may not have gotten the word out, but the thoughts were great.
Oh, thank you, Clyburn. Ah, that's great. It's good to know that in the land of thought, Biden was nailing it, you know? That's fantastic. I love... This is like establishment Democrats for you. They fucking hate you, dude. They hate you. They hate you. You have no idea how much they hate you. Your fragile mind would be burnt to a crisp if you could for a moment experience the amount of hatred the average senile institutionalist centrist Democrat feels for the median voter for 1 femtosecond, okay? It would annihilate you.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm no longer going to be a registered Democrat. I'm going to re-register as an independent because I'm not going to just whole cloth support a party that feels the need to insult voters like that.
I don't give a shit. Say it, spit it, sister. Whatever the fuck. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah,
that was insulting and disrespectful to say the least. Okay? Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT.
By the way, that's it. You're 3 minutes in. Thanks for watching.
To the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work.
Motion gaslighting. That's what's happening here. They're basically pre-announcing, we are going to gaslight you, and now watch us do it. Did you hear that last comment? He said, yeah, he didn't get the words out, but he had the thoughts right.
No.
Wait. Hold on. How would you know? If he didn't get the words out, how do you know which thoughts were in his head? Do you understand the level of absurdity we're dealing with here? So the whole country saw Joe Biden melt on that debate stage.
Correct.
And these idiots are going out there and going, no, he didn't. No, don't believe you're lying us.
I'm sorry, Benjamin. I'm very sorry, man. I usually have a rule against watching videos that I agree with, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, they're kind of on point with this one. Jesus. TYT just wants to push their alt candidate bullshit through. I want to push my alt candidate bullshit through. Get Whitmer up there, man. I want to. Get me up there.
I know why they're doing it. Because a third of the country will believe anything a Democratic leader says.
Just like a third of the country will believe anything the Trump camp says.
100%.
Unification. I don't have any experience in organizing, but if you don't have any experience in organizing, you might want to find somebody who does to organize a protest that's in 2 days.
MAGA through and through. Let's keep it real.
No, now I'm positive there's blue MAGA, and I'm deeply, deeply disappointed. You can say, hey, Cenk, you know what? You're naive. Of course, Democrats are just as deluded as Republicans, but it didn't seem like it. Republicans have staked their claim to a number of things that are preposterously untrue, but now the Democrats have joined them.
The difference is Republicans fear their constituency. Republicans might lie constantly. They might present a completely different worldview, but Republicans will adjust their messaging and strategy to accommodate the interests and voting preferences of their constituency. This is known as a democracy, where the party does stuff that the voters of the party want. Meanwhile, over with the fucking Democrats, they don't give a shit, dude.
Saying that Biden, it was his staff. How did his staff make him 81? How did his staff make him forget everything he was saying?
They're throwing Anita Dunn. They're throwing Anita Dunn under the bus. That's the senior advisor who.
If you, the voting majority, tell the Democrats, 75% apparently, hey, we don't want Biden to be the head. The fucking arrogant Clintonite neoliberal dipshits who run the party from New York City are going to tell you, no, sweetie, sorry, you don't know what's best for you. Don't worry, we know how to run this party just fine. You'll vote for these guys. You'll vote for Hillary Clinton. We know she's incredibly unpopular and nobody likes her and there's a million signs that she's doing poorly and she flubs constantly. No, we know best, sweetie. It's her turn. The arrogance, the presumptuousness, that's a big difference, man. Donald Trump is one arrogant motherfucker. However, here's something he doesn't do. Does Donald Trump come across as entitled to Republican votes? My argument would be no. Actually, because he's so keen on the applause, he often comes across as quite, not conciliatory is not the right word. He tries to argue them in. He's obsessed with approval from the voters. So every time he goes out there on stage, he makes arguments. They're dishonest arguments. I'm not crediting him for being correct, but he does attempt to make arguments for the favor of the party. Whereas oftentimes from the Democrats, it seems like they're telling you why you're stupid if you don't like them, right? Donald Trump goes out there and he argues why you should like him The Democrats go out there and argue that you should like them. Does that make sense? Am I waffling? I feel like it's a meaningful distinction. I feel like the Hillary Clinton campaign was her going out there and going, I'm the adult in the room. I know what I'm talking about. I have the experience. Of course you should like me. Whereas Donald Trump will go out there and attempt to actually make the voters like him. Something that Hillary Clinton put clearly no effort into. And we're seeing the same thing now, where Donald Trump goes out there and campaigns and argues why he would be a good president. Again, he's wrong. He's lying. But he does make the arguments. Whereas Joe Biden goes out there and he just says, here's our record, we're better than them. Which sounds similar, but it's not quite the same. Democratic strategists will go out there, allies of the Democrats, Democratic, elected officials, whatever the fuck. They'll go out there and they'll say, yeah, of course you should go vote for Joe Biden. Don't you know that our democracy is on the line? Yeah, of course you should do this. What are you, a bedwetter? What are you, one of the rabble-rousers in the party who's dissatisfied with the decrepit, atrocious performance of the president? I think there's a meaningful difference. Yeah, the Dems talk down to people. Donald Trump does not talk down to people at rallies. He comes across as very personable, very person-forward, very I'm here with you. Again, he's lying. It's fake populism. But he succeeds in doing that. That's the reason why every Republican thinks that Donald Trump is down to earth, even though he's a billionaire coastal elite from New York, Yeah, Trump talks down to his enemies, not his fans. Democrats, on the other hand, will talk equally to Republicans, but down to their own voters. Democrats will talk down to voters. Of course you should vote for Joe Biden. Why wouldn't you vote for Joe Biden? Look at everything that he's done. But then to Republicans, they'll do this like disingenuous reaching across the aisle thing. Their priorities are completely fucking mixed up, man. They should be contemptuous to their opposition and egalitarian to their fans.
Frequently has the president's ear. Dunn's husband is also being thrown under the bus. That's Bob Bauer, the president's attorney who played Trump in the rehearsals for the debate. Ron Klain, the former chief of staff who ran point on the debate prep and previous cycles sessions. Yeah. It's just they're throwing everyone else under the bus, while simultaneously gaslighting the American people into thinking that we didn't all see what we all saw with our own two eyes. We didn't hear what we all heard with our own two ears. And look, I have my issues with Jake Tapper, but here he is calling a spade, and I have a lot of respect for anyone in the media.
Dems treat their voters as a problem to be solved. Trump wants to feel like he's selling a product the base wants to buy. I think that's a perfect way of framing it. A perfect way of framing it. The interests of the Dems constituency is something they're like, okay, and they try to work around it or like change their interest, or in some way like they try to disingenuously accommodate it. Whereas Trump is always selling himself to the audience. Biden doesn't sell himself to us, not really.
Media who's willing to tell the truth. Let's watch.
Biden campaign chair Jen O'Malley Dillon holding a call with party leaders earlier today, telling them this too shall pass. There is a discernible pattern of Democratic officials seemingly trying to convince you, the public, to not believe what you saw and what you heard with your eyes and with your ears on Thursday night. Democratic officials have tried to spin this in many ways. They said President Biden just had a cold. They said it was just one off night, akin to when President Obama in 2012 was rusty and seemed a little huffy. But behind the scenes, make no mistake, most Democratic officials witnessed the same shocking spectacle that you did.
The Democratic Party has made a clear decision here. And that clear decision is to protect the selfishness and the ego of Joe Biden and his family members, clearly, who are urging him to stay in the race, over the best interests of the future of the country. Or
never listen, okay? Marx sells seething and coping when confronted with the reality of great man theory, Chads, okay? I think this goes beyond corporate interest. I think a lot of it is just sheer fucking arrogance. Genuine, authentic, sheer fucking arrogance that the Democrats have had, that running amok in the Democratic Party for decades. Pure fucking ego. Hillary Clinton was maybe the worst public invocation of it, but it's been the case for all of them. Clinton, Schumer, Pelosi was monstrous about this, where you have these dinosaurs in office who genuinely think that because they're the adults in the room, they have like an infinite mandate for political rule in the future. Still not over Sinema. Well, Sinema kind of ran her own path, you know?
Over the best interests of Democratic voters who overwhelmingly believe that Biden should not be running for re-election right now.
Yeah. So let me give you a George Orwell quote, and then I'm going to back it up with overwhelming evidence. So he wrote in 1984, "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears."
This is like, Jenk, I love you. This was like me in sophomore year making an argument. Have you heard of this quote from the book 1984?
It was their final, most essential command. Now you tell me that's not exactly what's happening here. Orwell was an unmitigated genius. That is exactly right. So now let's talk about who they is, because there's one decision maker here. NBC News, New York Times, Axios, all saying who the top decision maker is, and it's Jill Biden. So Dr. Jill Biden has decided that she is staying in the race, so Joe will have to stay with her, okay?
We've instantly veered into the psychotic, the realm of the mad. Jill Biden's literally just being supportive of her husband. Like, Jill and Joe Biden have been in a very difficult position because being the president and the first lady is not easy, obviously. Like, that's clearly a difficult position to be in. It's not an easy job. She's been supportive of her husband through thick and thin for decades. She's just supportive. She's not like the secret decision maker. Of course she's supporting him.
And so this is not hyperbole, guys, and it's all of the major outlets reporting this. So now when, like, for example.
Yeah, this isn't like a Lady Macbeth thing. She's not like the secret puppet master or whatever. She's just like a supportive wife, you know?
Anita Dunn, Ron Klain, etc., or whether you like them or not, agree with them or not, and Bob Bauer as well, like legendary Democratic staffers. And for that, you could hate them. Okay, they have been involved in victories, they've been involved in defeats, and they are beloved in Washington. Okay, now all of a sudden, after a career where you told us that they were infallible, whenever I questioned Anita Dunn, people were like, "How dare you?" I've literally been kicked out of rooms in Washington for questioning Anita Dunn.
It's just conspiratorial and not productive. I agree. I think this is an actual detraction from what is otherwise a strong set of points to correctly spite the Democrats for their behavior here, for their dishonesty and their egotism, and then to be like, well, it's actually all Jill Biden. I think that's very dumb.
But now all of a sudden, she's under a bus.
Under a bus, right?
Okay.
Because precious Biden, we got to protect his feelings. We have to protect his ego, and he and his family insist on continuing with this sham presidential run. And by the way, just to give you guys the receipts, as reported by Politico, let's go to graphic 2 here. First Lady Jill Biden and his son Hunter Biden were the loudest voices urging the president to stay in the 2024 contest. I can't believe how little regard they have for their own family member here. Because look, let me just be a human for a second. Put politics.
Okay, I agree with that. Okay, wait, hold on. I don't want to get caught arguing against position that I actually agree with. I think it's fucking psychotic that the future of our country right now is hinging on the support of Hunter and Jill. The fact that we heard a report that Hunter Biden was apparently present at like a big staff meeting, like you have all of these seasoned political officials meeting with Biden, and Hunter Biden, who is not a government official in any way, shape, or form, and never has been, yeah. They shouldn't be in the fucking room. When listen, when Biden's at Camp David, like gooning out to assuage the depression from the bad debate, yeah, the family can be there. If Joe Biden is at a fucking staff meeting, Hunter Biden needs to be out of the room, dude. You are not, you aren't him. Get out. Who the fuck do you think you are? You're not you're not an advisor. You're a playboy crack fiend. That's what you're good at. Bro thinks he's on the team. Cut that. Cut the segment. I have to go soon. Tomorrow, I head down to Los Angeles for the first anime expo that I've been able to attend since COVID. I apologize for the poor timing, but I think this is the last time I'm flying out of Seattle for the rest of the year. And it's going to be a busy rest of the year. I'm going to try to get some quick segments done when I have moments to over in Los Angeles, but apart from that, I might be able to sneak in an early stream tomorrow in response to the all hands on deck DNC staff meeting, on the off chance that the meeting is meaningful and relevant and isn't stupid bullshit and isn't a nothing burger, you know? It's gonna be a nothing burger. I know. Also, I have a fucking headache. I cannot have a headache on a flight. If I have a headache on a plane flight, there will be no more streams on account of me not... I will flush myself down the airplane toilet. You know when you flush a toilet on an airplane and it like whooshes down really fast? I'm gonna stick my foot in there and fucking launch myself out into the great beyond if I have a headache during a flight, okay? This is a real threat. Headaches are the devil tempting you to murder. Yeah. Yup. Sorry. Can I ask your guys' opinion on something? So the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now, the famous The Bear t-shirt. This one right here. This one, it's the same one the bear guy wore. I like it quite a bit. I like how it feels on me. But I'm very curious about another fit of shirts, and I want your opinion on it real quick, okay? Real quick. Are you ready? So they have a 1950s style shirt, but I'm really interested in the 1920s style shirt. Take a look at this. It's called the 114. Look at this. It has a gigantic wide open neck. I don't think they make shirts like this anymore, which is why I'm curious about it. I kind of feel like this might go hard. It's got like a tighter sleeve. It's much thinner and lighter, and it's got like a big open neck. I feel like there's a very specific... It's like a very specific vibe, I feel. Because the thing is with me is that I'm very hairy. So I would have like a bunch of hair everywhere. And I feel like that might go hard in a kind of like dock worker way, or it might not, you know? Barber feel. Can you do it in shave? Shut up. Georgian uncle vibes. I just kind of like it. Isn't it kind of cool, I guess? It's loop wheeled too. So it would like fit my chest snugly, and it would fit my like shoulders and arms snugly. Does it have a gusset in the underarm? Loop wheeled, run small. Details. And no side seams, triangle. Yes, it does. Triangle insert underarms. Ooh, I really want to try it. Ooh, I really want to try it. And try like a 2XL. I'm wearing a 2XL right now. All right. Time to read donos. Sake, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. If we have Kowalski from Nebraska, what happened to the other 3 Madagascar penguins? Well, Kowalski's everyone's favorite one anyway. Mistress Lynn, thanks the gifted tier 1 sub. Thank you, DM. It's lovely to see you in chat. I hope you're doing well. Didn't 20s men wear striped shirts? I think that striped shirts are pog. In my humble opinion, I think that more horizontal striped shirts should be worn, personally. And I think the logic that, like, they make you look fat is dumb and misapplied. A Pretty Loverworm, thank you for the tier 2 sub. A Two Dad Smooshing, and Pessimist, thank you for the tier 1 subs. Xeon, thank you for the $5. Just got my wisdom teeth removed, so now I'm a dumbass like the rest of chat. Nice. So naturally, I'll do what most dumbasses do and give you money. It hurts the mouth. I'm sorry, man. You'll recover soon, okay? I hope you feel better soon. No Wonder, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Really appreciate that. And Rivera Life, thank you for the 10 tier 1 subs. I'd like to thank you all for attending my birthday stream. Happy birthday, Rivera Life. And thanks to our host Vosh for doing a special birthday stream just for me. It was my pleasure. Thank you for setting it up with me beforehand. I had a lot of fun, and I really, really hope that you enjoyed your birthday stream. My problem with horizontal striped shirts is that it's too French. It depends on the line thickness and the color. French is black and white. Russian is white and light blue, you know? There's, you know, you can go in a lot of different directions there. Wisdom Waffle, thank you for the very kind tier 4 sub. Despite the anti-Vosh rhetoric in Discord, I will take advantage of my socioeconomic status to uplift the workers. Good. I am the working class, after all. Some might even say the most working class. And I appreciate it. Striped shirt with the yellow hat. True. Thank you very, very much. These look like Jim Bro shirts. Well, there's a lot of subtleties to their design. That's true, Fletch. What was I doing? Fuck, my head hurts. God damn it. God damn it. Still alive, thank you for the $5. Benjamin Gilbert Lift, thank you for the incredibly kind $50. I really appreciate that. As a true leftist, I'll take advantage of DNC weakness by founding a new political party where the lefties can flourish. I shall call it the National Alliance of Zealous Intellectuals. I'm starting in Florida, and I think we finally stand a chance here. Good, I hope you have a good time. Oh, I get it. Fuck you. Dipshit. Spontaneous Mix, thank you for the $2. Reminds me of 2020 when called Biden Diet Trump. When who called? You missed a word, man. When you called? True. Milo Kisavilk, thank you for the $5. If the DNC doesn't let Biden go, do you think it might finally tear the rift in the DNC between the establishment and the more progressive one? I think that if Biden loses here, there will be a significant portion of the Democratic constituency that will never forgive the DNC for it. I don't think that they can pull another 2016 where they managed to successfully gaslight the Democratic majority into believing that their handling of Bernie Sanders did not contribute to Hillary Clinton's loss against Trump. Like, they succeeded there. I don't think they're going to succeed this time. An incumbent? It grew legs and walked away. Thank you for the 5. That one guy, thank you for the $11. Here's a coffee on me, Vosh. Thank you for accurately assessing the value of a coffee these days. Best case scenario, Biden wins, does nothing for 4 years, and a far-right GOP will have an even bigger mandate in 2028. Well, if Biden wins, we'll at least have the benefit of the fact that Trump will probably not be around 4 years from now. I mean, he's surprisingly cogent, but I would be really surprised if he could keep it up for another 4 years, man. You know? And neither will Biden, and neither will Biden. Still alive, thanks to the $10. A few people I see suggest Kamala Harris take over if Biden steps down, says she has the incumbency advantage, more name recognition over the other choices. Do you agree or disagree? The main problem is just that she hasn't done anything as VP, and she's not very charismatic. But I think she'd do better than Biden, yeah. Luke Henderson, thank you for the £2. Really appreciate that. And Emo Catgirl, thank you for the $5. I've started to become sober from weed and I've noticed I'm becoming an addict. Thank you for your self-improvement segments. I love you. I'm very happy to hear that you're starting to kick it. Seriously. Is Vosh's setup picking up a radio? That actually can happen sometimes, believe it or not. If that's the case, well, my stream is about to end anyway. Guys, I really wish you guys could see how nice this feels in person. It should be cropped like this, you know? I wish you could... There's just like the way it like hugs. Can you believe this is a double XL? Nice as far as t-shirts go. Yeah, it has such a... Here, wait, let me try, hold on. I think it needs an appropriate, hold on. I got these nice jeans from 316 recently, and here, because this is a heavyweight t-shirt, so if I was walking around downtown or whatever, I wouldn't wear this heavyweight white shirt with deck shorts, you know? That's a little bit aesthetically incongruous. Now, these jeans still need to be hemmed, so the cuff is way too big. Not really a proper demonstration of their, you know, aesthetic value, but There we go. I think that shows off the combo pairing a little bit better, you know? Actually, I feel like I could tuck it in even more. See what I mean? Where the thickness of the material. See what I mean? I like the jeans. I like these too. I just need to get them tailored. What kind of belt would you want with that? I think for a clean look, I might not go with a belt. But if I was wearing a jacket, I might go with one. You know? Nice jeans. Yeah, they're straight leg. They have a real, like, outward bend. Can you... Wait, hold on. See, they need to be tailored. But see how they have, like, an outward curve? Like that? Like the way they kind of, like... See? The cuff is huge. They need to be hemmed. The cuff is doing something. They need to be hemmed. But like you see the curve, right? The way that even when I stand straight, they have like an outer. See? Like. Now just cuff them a little harder. Yes. I like them. Is your waist always the same size to fit these pants, or does your waist fluctuate? Well, I've been eating like shit for a week, so they're a little tight right now in my belly, but you know, that's life. How long is the front rise? I don't know the exact measurement. These are relatively high-waisted, though. I mean, if you can see, like, there's my belly button. Ew, it's my fucking belly button. You've got one. I got lucky, Blutenherz. Also, I wouldn't hem those. I'd fold them twice, just roll with it. No, I've tried. They need a little bit more. A little more zhuzhing is what they need. Fuck, my head hurts. Okay, I should go. Sake! Thank you for the 10 tier 1 subs. Thank you very, very much. If anyone could fuck up the prospect of first female president by making it so boring the Dems would fall asleep and not vote, it's Kamala. I agree. I really don't want her to be de Gaulle. Kamala is literally more boring, more focus group than Hillary without the connections. I agree. Maybe not more focus group. Definitely more boring. Aren't your balls uncomfortable when wearing high-waisted pants? No, because the rise is higher. You don't just pull them up higher. You know, there's more room in the seat. I agree, though. Thank you, Sake. I really appreciate it. How do you determine if pants/jeans have a good quality and don't rip easily? I mean, there are a few things that you can do to determine that, right? Japanese denim is usually pretty sturdy. Avoid stretch denim. The more rivets, the better, usually. I don't know. Nice, Thana. Yeah, these are definitely a bit tight on me at this exact moment because I've been eating like shit. But if I ate properly for like a week, I'd be fine. Or even if you like had it untucked. And you just cuffed it like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now do the French tuck with a heavyweight shirt? Probably not. Does Japanese denim do well with the ripped vibe? Not really, no. Usually ripped, torn up jeans are more of a punk thing, and those tend to be more of a like American Levi's rocker skinny jeans sort of thing. Whereas Japanese denim is usually employed in a more like tapered or straight fit, kind of like solid, clean aesthetic. You know? It varies. Anyway, my head's about to explode. I literally just need to like lie down for a minute. Yeah, Japanese denim is all about pre-war reproduction. Let me... I have a headache. I have to go. Little man. You look ridiculous.
He was screaming for attention.
You want attention?
Look at the frog.
Look at the frog. Ooh. Give him the frog. No. Wah! All right. I love you guys very much. I'm going to send you over to The Void? No, not The Void. Hey, remind me, does Kevin Logan hate me at the moment? It's been a while since KF Logan. Thank you, Sake. Thought about getting a cat, but it didn't want attention. I returned it for being defective. I don't think so. I haven't seen anything. Based cat. Yeah, that cat's saving its affection for someone who's ready for it. Not that I know. Please, Vosh, I crave the Void. No Void, I'm sending you over to Kevin Logan. I don't care. All right, I love you guys, and I'll try to see you early tomorrow.